Good evening, our many viewers, wherever you are. Welcome again to another presentation here of our broadcast in the Issues Room. Tonight is our 173rd broadcast, this first day of August, Tuesday, 7 p.m. here in the U.S. on the East Coast, precisely in the city of Philadelphia. I'm Volcano Shelton here with you this evening at Anchor. I will be joined momentarily by my colleagues Alphonso Yenu and Moses Sandy. But in the meantime, we'd like to encourage you to please share the link, invite others to join us here tonight. It's going to be a great conversation. I believe you've seen the flyer, and we'll be discussing some of the comments by Liberians here in the diaspora who continue to complain about too much working in America and they're tired doing this. They want to go home. They believe that home is better. They build their homes, they build their retirement properties, they dream mansions, and they want to go home. But some of the things that I believe they have not considered are the things we'll be talking about here tonight. Whether Liberia is ready for them, the amenities, the good life they're used to here in the US, the peace, the tranquility, the space, because you can get in your car right now, drive to anywhere in America without any checkpoint, right? Um, but I don't know if you're going to do that in Liberia. Just around Monrovia by itself at nighttime, checkpoints are erected. So there's no free flow of human trafficking, meaning moving about. But then you also have the lack of electricity. You also have the lack of the rule of law. Uh, the country uh, economy is in a poorer state. There's no jobs, and even at that, the most important thing when you retire is to live a decent life, and that health care is not there. So while Liberians continuing to say this and show ingratitude, be ungrateful to what America has done for them, and they're really, really throwing it out there. I'm tired with this country. I'm tired working, and we'll be discussing it tonight. So there's a lot to put into this conversation. We want to encourage you, Raymond Clark, for you, to please share the word. Um, that's the ingratitude of the Liberian man. We've been ungrateful from the day we started as a nation, and we've even exhibiting that ingratitude today. Sometimes our ingratitude even go to our creator. Oh, today the sun too hot. Oh, today raining too much. Whatever people are these, they complain about everything. Moses and Alphonso, whatever people, nothing is good for the
Yeah,
Liberian man. Gentlemen, welcome. I think it'll be a great conversation tonight. Very riveting. I'm
yeah,
confident. I'm ready to chakla.
yeah. Honestly, I agree. Ingratitude or ungratefulness is absolutely wrong. It can break a family. It can break an organization. It can break a society. Uh, for people who serve in managerial position, will agree with me on that. Most companies have a high turnover rate where people in top management, do not demonstrate gratitude, don't show gratitude for people who work for them. And workers see that you are ungrateful, no matter how much money you pay them, they will leave because everyone wants to be acknowledged for what he or she does. So it's the same thing you're talking about, Volcano. We come here, many of us left, we came here, and the same people you meet them are part of, oh, man, nothing in the country, man, I gotta go. Oh, really?
But the other
Yeah,
day you were drinking,
yeah.
you were going to the embassy, went to the Molly man, you went
You
to
go to the church.
the Kahuna to pray for you to get visa. You come here now, the opportunity expands and give you
Yeah.
everything, and then you just want to just say you're gonna pack up this country, it's too hard. But let's hear from Alfonso too.
It could be a very interesting discussion. Yeah, Alfonso.
I'm hoping that a lot of Liberians would join this conversation and give their perspectives because that's really important. I think different people make different decisions for different reasons.
Mhm.
There might be some people for whom America is not the greatest place on earth, and so they want to go back. There might be some people who see Liberia as a retirement place where they can go and relax, as opposed to here where they might go to a group home or an old folks home. They might not have the support structure here to take care of them, when they are old and they cannot take care of themselves. And of course, as you all said, there's also the element of not appreciating. So, yeah. So you're right. There's that element, but I believe there are other considerations as well. So I look forward to a very exciting, interesting conversation with people coming, jumping in, and giving their perspectives of why. You know.
And you're right. I like that part about the
Yeah.
retirement piece.
Yeah.
But that's where we brought in the elements that make
Yes.
up a good retirement.
Of course.
Absolutely.
How do you retire in a country where you got to iron by yourself to the point that you already in jail
I mean, you praise him, man.
because you're afraid that somebody gonna come armed rob.
Definitely. I mean, I was shocked when somebody came from Liberia and told me, and you confirmed it, Volcano, that even the front doors now have steel doors, not even iron bars, complete steel doors,
Oh yeah.
sealed just like the stores
Mhm.
were in the past when we were growing up and those kinds of things. And the question I asked him was, what if there's a fire in the house? What happens? You can't even
Everybody
touch
dies.
that metal knob to open it because it will burn you. So you're gonna die in there. So yeah,
There's
that's a
just a
big
lot to look at here tonight, and
yeah.
honestly, and we're just saying America, but I know this conversation is also can be taken to other countries within the diaspora, the Australia, the Europe, and other places. But having been around a lot of Liberians and hear them say these things, I personally have been concerned about how and why they'll be showing this kind of ingratitude, and the way to make the statement as if to say somebody dragged them and brought them here, and they're tired and they're ready to go back. But then what I noticed, and honestly, I've seen it happen. You right here, right now, we're having the political season. Many of the folks will hustle their way to go back to Liberia and join this government or whatever government. As soon as that government go, they come right back here. Then they're looking for job. So
Yeah.
why didn't you prep yourself to stay when you were going? Or when they go to Liberia, nothing happening, no head, no tail. They come flying back and they start all over. So, I've seen that happen. Or in some instances where they go there and they lose everything, and then they say, "Damn, my man,
Bad.
oh,
That's all.
telling me, oh, they bought one way ticket. They one way ticket to bought to go. Now they end up buying another one way ticket
What
to
you
come
talking
back."
about, my man?
So
Not because you forget. The man will be in Monrovia, then he call you. He say, my
he calling
man.
somebody behind
He
it.
say, my
He say
man,
he went
Moses,
to
my man, just buy me one way ticket. When I can't at work, I will pay you. But my man,
Even
did you not
uh,
make plan for that?
yeah, it's even more than that though. It's even more than that. There were some people who left and went, and
Yeah.
as a consequence, when
Mhm.
you say lost everything, really lost everything, including their families and their kids they left behind here. Because as upbringing of the kids is very important.
Oh
Of course,
yeah.
when you go and stay 2, 4, 5 years there, I mean, the woman here, she's struggling with the kids. She has to work and take care. So as a consequence, they lose more than just the one-way ticket or whatever. They lose their families as well. So that's also another factor.
so
Yeah.
gentlemen,
Hmm.
before we go to the topic, there are some things in the trending news that Moses and you and I we can talk about quickly.
Yeah.
One of the things that caught Moses' eye was the video that was displayed on social media regarding a woman who is girlfriend to a guy in Nimba County went to visit or
Yeah.
went to the boyfriend and met another girl there, jumped her to fire and said because they've been together for 5 years, so they
So they are
are
married.
wife. But beat this girl mercilessly. And this is the country that people want to go to retire in.
But
No.
Volcano, not to distract you, if you check the rendezvous, I sent you the video.
Okay. Keep so
Yeah, but I,
just
I also just sent in a TI room as well. I
It's
posted it.
difficult to play from TI, but if
Okay.
you check the rendezvous, it's going to be at the top.
all right.
Okay,
Let me read to it.
yeah. Why you try to cue that? Uh, you know, when you watch that video, it's very sad and it raises a lot of questions.
Why are you talking? Let me go change my glasses. I can't see well. But go ahead. I'm gonna get the other pair.
Anyone seeing that video will wonder whether we have rule of law in Liberia. Two ladies dating one gentleman. One claimed that she dated a gentleman for over 5 years, and so she believes that as per quote unquote Liberian law, they are now considered married couple. I don't know where she got her information from. I don't know who the lawyer that ever told her that. Uh, Marriage is an institution. It's legal to enter into it. It can be done traditionally. It can be done through the court system, where certificates are issued to recognize that the union which you enter into is legal, not by assumption. So you have a lady who dated a gentleman that works in Nimba. She said they have, I think, 3 children. And there's another young woman who is also allegedly dating the same gentleman.
Also, I can't find the video if you put in it. I went to the rendezvous, so I
I
can't
did.
see.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm going to share this to my page and you can pick it up from there. Is right now you go there. I just shared it on my page. Let me share it again so you can easily find it.
Yeah, continue.
Okay. So as I was saying, this lady, she traveled from Monrovia and went to Nimakane.
The one with the guy in the tower.
Yes, the girl in
Okay,
the tower. That's the video.
so you just shared it.
So yeah. So in fact, I want you to roll the video and we just start a discussion from there, Volcano, because the video explains everything. Yeah.
Okay, so
Hmm.
let's see if we can get the video quick.
Yeah.
Um,
You have seen it, right?
yeah, I saw the video. I'm just trying
Okay.
to make sure that
Yeah.
we can bring it and share with the audience.
Okay.
Alfonso is back, so let me just bring him
Yeah.
first.
Hmm.
The video is there.
Yeah. No audio.
It's not right here, though.
Oh, okay.
What is going on? Hmm?
It it it, maybe the audio may come later. Let's just watch it here.
Audio is at the end of the line.
You're gonna see her attacking.
All the way to there.
Yeah, just let's watch just a little bit. I think she's waiting for the lady, and this young woman is currently staying with a gentleman in the house. The one that attacked her physically is the one who claimed that she has 3 children and she dated the gentleman for over 5 years. So by assumption, they are now considered couples, legally married.
Okay.
That's her definition of marriage. She have did that, okay? You see that? There is a Liberian lady who is physically assaulting another Liberian. When I look at this video, Volcano and Alphonso, when I see this video, it breaks my heart. As a dad with 4 daughters, to see someone's daughter being physically assaulted like that, it's very unfortunate.
And you can see the disparity in the size, you know?
Yeah,
And
the girl is much
presumably,
younger.
presumably the age as well. Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm told the young woman is 25. You see that? That's attempted murder going on right there. And you know what she did? So to tell you that this thing here was premeditated, the
Mm.
woman is stepping the physical assault. She had a camera running. What you see that?
Oh yes, you're taking up
Objects.
object now.
Hmm.
That's a pen.
Yeah. See that? And the young woman is literally
Begging.
begging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pleading with her.
Hmm.
Am I concerned? Yeah, are they both only the two of them in the room, or
It's only the two of them.
probably?
It's only the two of them because
when
I
yeah,
I listened.
nobody. Yeah, sorry, go ahead,
Mhm.
Moses.
No, I'm sorry, Alfonso. I listened to a podcast where the lady who is physically assaulting spoke to another female saying that the boyfriend allegedly gave her money to travel and she has a key to, they work for, he works for one of these mining companies in Nimba, and she said she had the key. Yeah,
ArcelorMittal.
yeah, she has a key for the container in which the gentleman resides. You know, what we're looking at here is not a home.
But
It's
equally, the girl who have jumped through the door right there, because
yeah. You
you know
see,
a lot
hmm,
of time there. So I
yeah,
think she did it, and then
and she
decided
left.
to leave. Yeah,
You see that?
yeah.
Now,
Okay.
gentlemen, um, let me stop there and give it to you. I mean, just looking at this video, what comes to your mind?
So first of all, it shouldn't happen under any circumstances, whether or not they were married. She's married to this woman, or not, I mean, married to the man or not married to the man. That's not even the issue. Even though she was raising a common law marriage issue, which is legal, but that's not even the point. What happened there had nothing to do with marriage. What happened there had to do with assault, which is a criminal act. So I think that's where I would place the focus. So she was really assaulting somebody, and she said she could have caused, who knows, maybe she actually did cause very serious bodily harm. She was hitting this young man, really beating, her up, and hitting her head, kicking her in the stomach, and all of those things. That's horrible. That's terrible violence against another human being. And I hope the law takes its course. What shocked me though is that the same what surprised me is the same podcast you talk about where you said, one of the other podcasts actually, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I listened to the podcast where she was explaining. Then I also read a report where she actually is in Monrovia currently,
Yeah.
undergoing police investigation. And my concern, why did they have to take her to Monrovia to do a police investigation and to prosecute her? The incident happened in Nimba. Don't we have police people in Nimba who can do investigation? Don't we have county attorneys and courts in Nimba? So again, it's another bigger issue that I think we can look at. But all in all, it's a very terrible act. Whether or not she was married to this man, whether or not she had a key to the house, which it appears she did
Mm-hmm.
because she entered the house unbeknown to the other lady in the tower. Um,
But I said I did not house it. I continue.
That
yeah,
container, yeah.
container.
You
So
see
she
how they got treat
entered the
our people like
container
animals?
because you can see. No, no, no.
Yeah.
It's like when you work on the fields. They can't put you in a house. They don't have houses yet. The
Look,
container is
Alfonso, man,
Don't,
that's
don't
absolutely wrong.
spoil
No,
it.
man,
Moses.
don't
Let's
think they
not.
for
The
that thing, man.
container is prefabricated.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No,
Man,
Moses, I being one of the things. Sometimes it's better than a house.
yes,
Thing I
yes.
air conditioner everything.
Moses. Moses, they
my
do that
man,
even here. They do
my
that
Moses,
man,
even
you
here.
know those African
the
animals in the
Nimba
back.
that you and I knew,
Those
the
guys
people
who work
have
on
what
it.
residential quarters for
But,
themselves.
But this is not the
Moses, things
number
have
that
changed.
you and I were living in. Even in the United States of America, they have quote unquote containers
Other people are
that
building
people live
container
in. The
in
people who work in the oil
Yeah,
field,
that's
the
what they
people
call
work
the mobile homes. Yeah. Mhm.
exactly. That's where they live. So that I don't think that's the problem.
In fact, I
But
want to build I want to build my container home in Liberia.
yeah,
Now, I
Correct.
don't have to worry about all that I am buying and doing
yeah.
this.
most
No,
of
but
that's a
that's the
lot of
risks you may be
collateral.
taking because you got me flip your
But the
Yeah,
prefabricated,
flip it, continue.
yeah, it's similar to being
Put me, put me
prefabricated.
on it.
But that's the
You're
point
trying to
anyway.
carry me.
Yeah, but go ahead, Alfonso. I'm
No, no,
sorry,
no. The
man.
point I was making is I think we should focus on the criminality of the action, because you can also be commit a criminal act even against your wife or husband or son or child, whatever the case may be. So whether or not they were married is not even the point.
Especially when you assault someone,
It's just an assault. Yeah.
irrespective of
Of irrespective of
the
the
relationship.
relationship
Yeah.
or the reason why you do that, an assault is an assault. Period.
So, what I would say, when I saw that video, trending on social media, I said to myself, "Where's the rule of law in Liberia?" Somebody who premeditated to murder another person. Say, I will go ahead and tackle. The only thing that saved that young woman is God. Anything would have happened to her. That's attempted murder right there. And to see that video trending on social media, the perpetrator is also calling on talk shows. Where's the rule of law? Where's the police? Where is our criminal justice? That woman should have been in prison long time. Long time. And this is the Liberia, that volcano. Your brothers who are living in safe environment are saying that I gotta go home.
So I like what Amar Freeman said here. We'll start
Mhm.
with that before I
Yeah.
come on to some of the causal factors. He wrote here, and I thought it was a nice way to look at it.
Mm.
He says here, retiring in Liberia can be a great option for those looking for a unique and rewarding experience. The country offers a relaxed lifestyle, a pleasant climate, and a low cost of living. However, it is important to research the local laws and regulations before committing the move. But let me just bring it back to Alma.
Yeah.
It's not a low cost of living. Liberia is highly expensive. You can put Liberia comparably on the same frequency of that of America. The hotels in Liberia are 2 stars, 1.5 star, and they're charging two
Man,
hundred
that's the true stuff.
dollars, two
Now,
stars and 1.5 stars, and they're charging $250 a night. The RLJ Hotel, the Palm Spring, the one that call themselves big names, they're charging 300, 400, $500 per night.
that's theft, man.
Okay? So Liberia is not cheap. Gasoline in Liberia is almost $5 a gallon. Liberia is not cheap. The bag of rice in Liberia, which is 25 pounds, is more than $20 now. Liberia is not cheap. Everything in Liberia, 2, 3 pawl of pepper is about 15, 20 liberty, or even no more $5, no more $10, no more $20. You got $50, $100 now. A cup of rice is not quite a cup of rice because they mash the cup, they put a candle wax inside it, done everything, and you. But listen, Liberia is not cheap. Everything is Liberia is expensive. If you want to know Liberia is not cheap, go try the healthcare system. When you pay for everything, literally, if you went to the hospital and you carry everything to the hospital, even the toilet tissue that you use the bathroom, Liberia is not cheap. So I just wanted to clarify that. The
Okay.
important thing here is yes, the climatic condition. Well, it's a two-way street. You got the rains and you got the dries. Which one can you stand? Can you stand the rain with the bad drainage system where the people putting the gutter in the drainage according to the president? Can you stand that back flooding? Or can you stand the sun and the dust when there's no what you call
Drainage.
uh consistent, that's the word, consistent electricity.
Elect-
So
Yeah.
even if you build your house with all the amenities in there and your generator breaks, you're on your own. because if there isn't consistent electricity, then the food that you buy will spoil. So a lot of things. So Liberia is not cheap, and let us not think that. But I just wanted to throw some of these things here. So, gentlemen, we wanted to hold this conversation because we thought it was important to enlighten again. Some of our folks have not done the groundwork. Some of them stayed here, like our man Dwight Port the last time, who decided to, start a project in Liberia. Maybe he didn't go, because you can see that if Dwight had gone, he wouldn't purchase that land himself. Somebody bought the land, took the cut, and put him in the swamp, right?
Yeah.
Decides to start the project, and unknowing to him, the land was already in dispute, and the land was in, bad shape when it rains. Because dry time, when you see some of the land, I'll dodge one land I was supposed to buy. The land was right near the car. Everybody buy the land. I look at the place. I said, this place don't look right. Even though that dry season here, but it place look like lake. Sure enough, I said, you carry me inside small. And I went inside. That place, when I went back the following rainy season, it was
Florida.
you can put canoe and ride and fish. You understand me? So sometimes you don't know these things in the dries. So not to use Dwight, and hopefully he's listening, but it's just an example that you don't go there and then you go and you do all of this, and then you go there and then the reality hits you. And then you ask yourself, how did it happen? So many things in our country at this point is not in place. Retiring in Liberia is not a bad thing, but what Liberia are you going to? And is that Liberia ready for you and will provide for you? Because retirement means you're going to relax, you're going to be peaceful, your healthcare, your medical condition, all your pills, all those things, you have access to them. How do you make this up? How do you really just assume that you can just go to a third world country that just emerged out of war? And not only that, the governments successively have done nothing much to restore the country to its counterparts in the sub-region. It is still lagging everything. Even you're driving in Liberia, your life is at risk. No traffic rule. How can you retire in a country where everything seems to be Armageddon?
A very good question.
So I think Volcano, you made a very important point. And Moses you did too, which is which Liberia are you retiring to? I think that's a question that people need to ask before they go. I was having a conversation with a group of friends the other day, and they said, "Oh, when I retire, I'm moving to Liberia. When I retire, I'm planning to move to Liberia when I retire." And my question was around the issue of healthcare. And the point I was making was, well, you want to really sit down and get old and then go to a country that doesn't have healthcare? Because when you're old, that's when a lot of the health issues come up. So now you live in this place, you have healthcare, you get old, and then you move back to Liberia where you don't have healthcare. What if something happens to you? And I was telling them that probably until the healthcare system improves, and maybe you can contribute towards improving the healthcare system, that's probably not a good decision. Look at other factors. Of course, it was, some guys are saying, "Oh, I come regularly and do my checkup and whatever." And my retort was, "Well, you get in the plane, coming to do, you get a heart attack, you get an emergency situation, then you have to get in the plane to go to Ghana and fly to America before you reach, then you're already done." So, but so the point is not that people should not plan to retire in Liberia. Um, I don't think it's a bad idea to say I want to go back home and relax where I have the support system and all of that when I get old and I can't work anymore. But you have to consider certain factors. And more importantly, in my view, you
Sorry,
have
sorry, sorry, sorry for laughing.
not,
Rewatch Thomas Hawaii say
yeah,
No, bro. The how what are you doing?
so, So a friend of mine went to Liberia. We will take care of the Airbnb. To turn on the AC, you have to unplug the hot water heater in the fridge. What type of country is this? So that means the food in the fridge for you to enjoy
So
AC.
you cannot refrigerate your food and at the same time set on the air conditioner.
It's why Georgia goes sit behind the house for the air while your food is freezing, and
Something got
then
to
you
give
come
in.
out in the night when
Maybe
the
I knew that Dua was watching us. Dua, sorry, sorry. I'm not using your experience, my brother. I will call you and we'll talk about everything. I know you sent me all the documents and I see some very important things for us to talk about. But I was just saying that probably in a nutshell, when you probably bought that land, you were not there actually to purchase the land yourself and to know it was in the swamp. So I was not using you. So please, please, I will not mention you again. We're just looking at some of the mistakes that some of our folks
People
make.
make.
They stay here and they purchase land in Liberia they never seen. They don't even know whether the land is in dispute, whether the land is swampy or anything. So sorry there.
and
But
I
let's continue.
yeah I think what we need to do is retiring to Liberia, taking whatever money you have and putting it in the economy is a really good thing, and probably people should plan to think about that. However, we should also look at the conditions on the ground, which are not favorable right now, but then challenge ourselves and ask ourselves the question: is there anything I can do to improve the conditions on the ground? I think that's the key point. A lot of the, and I don't want to go political on this, but I just mentioned something really briefly. We can push in the diaspora to have a voice in the country and help to improve the conditions on the ground. One of the ways we can do it is the ability to be able to vote in the diaspora. And that way you have a voice and power to be able to change the conditions on the ground. So when you're considering going there to retire, you don't have to take some of your retirement money to buy a generator and become an expert in running a generator, and you don't have to go through all of those circumstances, because that's what makes it difficult as well and very expensive. If there was electricity where you just paying few bucks per month to the electricity company, there was safe running water where you don't have to build your own tower and all of those things. Those things don't exist. And then of course improved healthcare. Those are the issues. So how can we here or in the diaspora and other places, Australia, whatever, contribute towards improving the conditions on the ground to make it suitable to go there to live or to retire? I think that's also another question that I wanted to just put
Alfonso,
on the
but
table. Yeah.
importantly, the Liberian man is so selfish that everything he wants to do it his own on his own rather, and so it's impossible. Look at Liberia. Where are the conglomerates? Look at the businesses. People do the same thing. Soon as I start selling cold water, everybody decide to sell cold water.
Hmm.
Instead of coming to join me, let's just create the biggest cold water company. But everybody got cold water. You got John Saki cold water, Moses Sandy cold water, all over the place. Everybody, and some of the cold water, maybe my own cold water, I'm taking in environmental, protection,
Precautions. Yeah.
precautions and all of that. No, some of them just digging the water from behind the house and they're making cold water, and the poor people just drinking any kind of cold water. Where are the conglomerations? So when you talk about this, if I build my house here and I can buy a 10,000 kVA and all of the people around, right, can be served electricity, but some of them will want to steal my curry and sell it to the next man. I've given you curry, but you ain't selling the curry. You understand me? To the next man. Then we just see everybody got curry. Then you just see wire, then all in the air, wire on the
Yeah. But it may only pay only here alone paying to you.
yeah, but he already profiting off of me.
Man, making sure
These
they
are
nail you, man.
the reality. And first, I don't know when last you were in Liberia, but I know Moses hasn't gone there for the last 20 plus years. These are the reality of the time. And River says Pro asked a question here. Was it better during the Ellen administration? We're not talking
We're not
administration. We're
discussing.
talking about the reality
Yeah.
today.
Okay,
And if it was Joe Biden in government today, I mean, in the presidency, we'd be talking about the reality today. If it were Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in government and president today, we'll be talking about the reality today. So this conversation has nothing to do with government. This conversation has everything to do with in preparedness or unpreparedness of Liberia to accommodate people who want to retire in Liberia like they have lived here. How am I going to retire from the frying pan into the fire? Take this analogy now, my
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I was
Moses,
from the
Alphonso,
they say from
how
the
can I
frying pan
leave?
to the fire. Right
Yeah,
there.
how am I going to retire from the frying pan into the fire?
Yeah.
How am I going to leave America to retire in Liberia? That when I walk all day and come home, I flip my light switch on, current. I turn my faucet, current. I turn my AC on, AC. I flip through my Wi-Fi operating. Nobody charging me per minute per data for my phone. Everything is happening.
You don't have to go down the
Yeah,
street to charge your
yeah.
phone.
To go down to my neighbor house to charge my phone. How am I going to leave from all of
Now your
this?
neighborhood,
Yeah,
man. Moses, stop. Down the neighborhood that from Grand Crew to Maryland.
yeah. People are leaving from Great to go all the way to People to charge phone. So, yeah. But this is what I wanted to say quick before you
But
guys
look,
come back in. And wait,
yeah,
I'm telling you, Moses.
uh,
So the people who create the America retirement are the people in government. Samuel Toy has everything that America can offer right now. George Weah has everything that America is offering right now. But you and myself, even if we save our money and went to Liberia to retire, the money will finish. You know why?
how long it
Because
take you?
we're not getting it back. Those people, they got the money. Until they leave government, the money is flowing. They're enjoying it. And so as a result, they don't care about the masses. That is why Liberia is not a place for you to just prematurely, unprepared, go to say you're going to retire. You can build the biggest skyscraper, you can put everything in it. Within a year, the money will finish and you won't be able to sustain. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's no joke. It's no joke. You gotta be doing something in Liberia. So it won't be retirement. You're not gonna start working like crazy to be able to sustain your livelihood in Liberia. You have to. I have experienced it. I have spent more money in Liberia when I go there than when I stay in America. For a whole 2 weeks, I don't spend money in America. All I do just go to work, come home, everything I have in my house. If I want to drink alcohol, it's in my house. If I want to eat food, it's in my refrigerator. If I want to watch a movie, it's right here. So I don't have to spend money in America. I mean, in Liberia. By the time you leave your house, you're spending money from the policeman. You're already spending money for the policeman. One little mistake you make, the policeman pull you over, you gotta die there.
On
You
your
go to the
heat.
bank to get your own money, you got to bribe. When I go to the bank, do I bribe anybody to get my money off? I go to the ATM give me whatever amount as per my withdrawal. In Liberia, the ATM gave you $20. $20. I was right there. My boy wanted $200 ATM. We were able to get him $20.
Wow.
These things we're telling you are the realities of the time. We're not making this up. So Liberia is not a place to say, oh, you get, I'm packing my bag, I'm going home, I'm tired with the country, I working too much. No, there's a lot of preparation into it.
So if I can come in, a couple of things I would like to say. The first thing I want to say is that tonight's show is not meant to discourage people who have the intention of retiring home not to do so. But we just want you to make this decision, factor in some of the key things that my colleagues have spoken about. There are implications, positive and negative implications. The positive implication will be that you will be around your people. Then you will be treated like a king. Once you're giving them few dollars, you will be treated like a king. Your colleagues will hang out with you. You will have name recognition in the community because that's where you came from. You can easily relate to people of your same orientation. Um, in terms of negativity, like Alfonso said, the older we become vulnerable to illness. You can fall ill anytime. How do you retire to a country that if you go to the hospital, they say, oh, my man, go and buy the paracetamol. Oh, you need a syringe. Yeah, go down to Eaton Pharmacy. And the man is lying on the floor. Instead of treating the man, they're telling the family member, oh, oh, you need to bring tissue. Oh, you need alcohol. You hang water on the man. Whether the man is diabetic or not, they don't care. They say that you hang water on the man. Simply, I'm saying that how do you retire to a country when your healthcare system is in shambles? How do you retire to a country that pays no attention to the rule of law? Like the video that we just showed. Anybody can attack you. Anybody can do anything to you with impunity. In fact, you that coming from abroad, you say, oh, that man probably won't bring an American thing here. The same people you grew up with, they now consider you to be an outsider. So when something happened, they said, that man myself was spotted today. Where you was spotted? That man will come and attack you, hurt you, break into your home, and you have no redress. That a young woman that we just talked about, somebody physically assaulted her, yet the government is unable to take any action to hold somebody accountable.
Moses, add this in.
Yes.
Where in America you seen people taking pan and pots and bucket of water to put a fire? Where in this
Absolutely.
country?
In
Just
fact, that's a
retirement home catch a fire.
yes,
Retirement home catch a fire. That is never taking bucket, pan, and pot
yeah. But in
to
fact,
put water up because by the time the fire truck carrying over. Where?
Volcano is good that you said that. Let's assume that you spend $30,000 to $40,000 to build yourself a very decent home.
Oh no, 30,000, 40,000 can build no decent home in Liberia.
Okay, let's say $50,000.
100,000 up, my brother.
Okay, 100,000 hypothetically.
You know what?
100,000.
Hold on. You know how much? You see, the Liberian government is corrupt to the point that they don't even regulate anything.
Mhm.
This SETI man taking the scrap metal from our country, all the water thing and iron then.
Mhm.
He making those substandard steel rod that you can literally hold and bend,
Mhm.
and the what they call it, the size that used to be 5'8", the 5'8" now that's something smaller than 5'8", and
Okay.
selling it to people for $18 to $20. Then the steel rod used to be 36 feet. They cut it down to I believe probably 32 feet. Took away 4 feet again. You understand me? So I'm just trying to tell you that the cost to build in Liberia,
Yeah,
100,000, 30,000,
thank you.
40,000. Then I mean I just one small 2-bedroom
Yeah.
house with one
Okay.
bathroom inside.
So
All right.
let's
So when you say
say
retirement home,
yeah.
hit the
Yeah,
100,000 and above.
yeah, say hypothetically you invest $100,000. You build yourself a very decent home. And this home is more like a prison for you. You have iron bar inside, iron bar outside. Your front door is metal door. Your main door is metal door. And you go to bed at night, fire breaks out. What happens to you? The entire family will what? Suffocate to death. We have seen homes recently in Grand there. The police commander, his home
I think he died
was
in the fire.
engulfed. Yeah, he died in the fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Flomo said,
Nobody left that house because they have all what? Metal bars.
Mhm.
In and out. Everybody died in the house. So when you're deciding to relocate, these are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. Where am I going to?
Liberia.
Where am I going to? Is this the same place that and people, please, we're not trying to discourage you. We just want you to do some rational thinking.
Moses, let add this in quick too. From the airport alone, from the airport
Mhm.
to your retirement home is discouraging by itself.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about the country,
Yeah.
Liberia as the country. The reason why Liberia as the country looks the way it looks is because the people who we put in power, who lead the country through bad governance, is the reason why. So when we say Liberia, 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 we're not denigrating Liberia.
No.
We're denigrating the people who we've given the authority to lead our country and to let it into degradation. But the few that have been in the limelight of the politicking and the governance system are the ones who, flaunt their wealth in the faces of the downtrodden masses. So this can tie in to this October 10th election, that if you want your life to change and you in the diaspora want to retire in a country like Liberia, then that Liberia must be able to provide for you the things that will make your retirement livable. I'll make a quick case in point, and you guys will come in. The Republic of Ghana, the other day here, created an avenue to attract African Americans from in the diaspora. They created an avenue. The Great Return to Africa. Ghana set the tune. Why? Because Ghana prepped the country to encourage the people to come. Ghana has been prepped to encourage investment, to encourage Black Americans, white Americans, superstars, whatever it is, to come to a place where they don't feel that they're in the wilderness, that they don't feel that they're in the Kalahari, that is scrambling to look for an oasis just to drink water. They created, they prepped, and they made the country ready to receive the people. On the other hand, our country, our government, the people who are in governance are not doing anything. All they're doing is to create the small silos of comfort and leave the greater masses to darkness, leave the greater masses to no pipe-borne water, leave the greater masses to a poor economy, to a poor healthcare system, to a poor educational system, to all of these things, right? That they themselves, if we were to leave power tomorrow, they won't be even able to stand the condition that these people are going through. So Liberia is the country, but the people who are supposed to be preparing the country and doing what to prepare the country are not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I,
So
I agree. And Liberia, sorry.
mhm.
You
Oh,
want to?
quickly, just to wrap it,
Yeah.
like Volcano said about one of the key causation of what we call diarrhea, you know, is polluted water. So if you not have safe drinking water and you relocate to Liberia to settle there, you have lived abroad, your system has been accosted, or your system was adjusted to something else, and now you relocate and people have to bring you well water consistently. Are you not killing yourself? Have you thought about that? You fall off, no ambulance. They say you put water on the man. And how what people do by home? They say you put cold water on the man. You are unconscious. They say you put cold water on the man.
Look at that.
Mhm.
They started initiation on the plane. The clinic crew on the plane will start begging you for money. You disembark, the Ministry of Health agent ask you for money in the name of yellow fever card. Then immigration, then custom and baggage claim. Then the baggage handler and the baggers outside the airport. This prepares you for what to expect when you hit the city
Yeah.
limits of your communities.
Yeah.
What type of country is this?
The traffic, Volcano.
That's small traffic.
You guys talk about that. People spend 4 hours in
Yeah.
traffic.
So I want to make this
Yeah,
point.
let me
and I,
stop there and give it to you
yeah,
guys.
and
Yeah.
I
Also, can
think
you hold that point? Let me read this up so we can laugh about this one. Our man Raymond Clark said, man, when you retire in Liberia, you'll be able to hire horse boss, security, driver, all in the
Oh,
freeway, and collect all the free women.
boy,
You can't do those things here. He said,
I
my
did.
name was. So that
So is
and,
that what you want to retire for?
and that's the fact. Some people go to retire because of that freedom. But go
But you
ahead.
know what, Alfonso, I'm sorry quickly. You know, the man's talking about all this thing here. It will still be difficult. Let's assume that you're getting
But the
your
money will
regular.
finish.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, but forget the point I'm making. Let's say you have direct deposit. Your social security income, your retirement benefit is going to that account. When you go to the bank or you go to the ATM, your card can only give you $20.
Go ahead, Fonzo.
And you need to buy food for the family for that day. So how many times you keep going to that one ATM and getting
I
twenty
go to
dollars?
several ATMs. Because I won't get
Multiple
Yeah,
agents.
Alfonso.
But I think you made that point, Volcano, which is that this show is not intended to discourage people from planning to
Yeah, yeah,
retire to Liberia.
yeah.
My takeaway from this show is what can we is a if you want to go now, consider the circumstances on the ground before you
Right.
go,
Absolutely.
especially healthcare, especially safety, those key things. But also in terms of long term, what can you do to help improve the situation on the ground so that when you decide to go, it's kind of suitable for you and others who are leaving from here and going. Should we compare? Should we look for the same, situation here? Maybe not,
No.
but at least to some extent that can sustain you in terms of safety, in terms of health, and in terms of being able to get around and to do the things that you need to do. That you guys mentioned something very important, which is fire, which has to do with safety.
Mhm.
Let's say the house you live in catches fire. Is there any fire services coming or something?
No.
Let's say you get sick, you have an emergency situation, or your family does. Is there an ambulance that will come for you? And when
Mhm.
the ambulance comes for you, do they have trained people on the ambulance that can maybe resuscitate or keep you alive before you get to the hospital? Is there a traffic situation where when the ambulance is coming and it's blaring that
People,
people get
yeah,
out of the way?
yeah.
So these are factors.
People have defibrillator.
Yeah, do
No,
you have
you.
this? And you made that point, and Volcano. And there's a situation. Senator Vanish Sharma is a public figure, so I mentioned him. He had a situation at the Temple of Justice. How? I mean, not the Temple of Justice, at the
At
Capitol
the
building.
capital, he
What
collapsed.
did they do? They
Mhm.
had some people held his legs, some people held his head, and they ran him down the stairs and put him in some kind of private car to
No,
Yeah,
rush him
can you
to
no
the
imagine?
special, no special.
Yeah, no, no
no
stretcher,
stretcher,
nothing.
no nothing.
Hold on, guys. You would think the capital building based on that.
Absolutely.
Somebody will have the mind to say, we
Yeah.
need our own little quick clinic here.
Quick clinic.
These guys are
Yeah.
collecting 15
Look,
to 20
look, yeah,
people.
look at what Mrs. Abu has written.
Yeah,
The
we'll come to
crime
that.
start from the airport.
But I
Yeah.
want to say this.
Yeah.
So, so
God brings you, let me tell you something. We make laws, we make rules, we make all these things based on incidents, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And we do what we call modification of situation based on
based
events,
upon
incidents,
circum.
right? If a sitting senator fell out, that people got to literally lift him up and rush him to a private car, then you would think these senators who are making all this money will have a small clinic in there. They will have a stretcher.
Yeah,
They will
they
have one
should. Yeah.
ambulance that they
Mm-hmm.
can put money together to pay for in
Yeah.
case
Something
something happen,
happened. Yeah.
carry our person to JFK. No, but they think that they will get to Ghana, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them will not even reach to RIA. I just wanted to throw that in there, Alfonso. Come
Well,
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
you guys are 100%. So those are the circumstances or situations in the ground. You're very right. When something happens, that's when the legislature passes law and puts money into it to address that problem. We had a senator fell off the health. You talk about clinic, and I've advocated that all the time. Just put one clinic in the grounds of the Capitol building or somewhere on Capitol Hill. that can address the executive mansion, which is right there, that can address the Capitol building, which is right there, that can address the Temple of Justice, that can address lands and mines, that can address the University of Liberia. So you have really the so-called important people and the so-called important institutions
The
all
entire government seat is
it's
set
the
right
seat
there.
of government.
And you don't have a clinic. You
And
don't
not
even
a
have an
single
ambulance. You don't even have a fire station.
no clinic,
That's what I'm
no
telling you.
ambulance, no fire service, nobody who's trained CPR or first aid. I mean, those are basic things.
That's what I'm telling you, Alfonso. And I want to punch the television right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how the fight was this going. Because where are these people? All
Yeah.
they consider is to steal. All they want to steal.
Yes.
Common sense will tell you this is the seat of government. You don't have a fire station anywhere there. You did not build any clinic around there.
No.
You don't even have ambulance. If a government seat.
And
Volcano,
let me
Moses, before you come in real quickly.
Is right
Mhm.
across the road. The president
Yes.
said he
No,
moved there now.
I just
Real
wanted to
quickly,
pass.
Moses,
Alfonso,
real quickly.
Gentlemen, you'll get with me. I would not
Yeah.
say one more word.
Alfonso,
No,
please.
no, you should say something. I
Alfonso,
just wanted
please.
to say that the University of Liberia is right there.
Okay.
It has a nursing school. It has a medical school. You
Yeah.
can use the students from the University of Liberia to staff and do internships at those clinics.
Yeah. So the information I also wanted to provide, as Volcano was talking about ambulance, fire service. For the year 2022-2023, the national budget. You know how much the fire department allocated for ambulance? I mean for fire truck?
Mm.
$75,000. The average cost of a fire truck.
$300,000+.
I'm talking about the use. It starts from $200,000 to $1 million.
But mostly I research those things and I'll be asking myself, our government can steal all the money. We
Mhm.
can go take trips by charter flight carrier, all the croonies them
Yeah.
all over the world for no reason. They're doing nothing to go
Yeah.
celebrate and enjoy themselves and get big padam. And you can't afford ambulances in the country. You can't
No.
afford fire trucks. Then people must sit here and tell us, say, we talking about we are, or we talking about Ellie.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
That argument about
The
we are
average
selling-
cost, right, of a
Yeah.
used fire truck
Yeah.
is $200,000, and the price goes up to $1 million.
Absolutely.
In the whole country,
Mhm.
the fire bureau allocated $75,000 to buy a fire truck. Where they'll get that one from? From Joe Weir Farm?
Yeah.
So small things. My man, small things a government can do for itself
Yeah.
and the people. Small things. Small things. A
Very
president
small.
takes $2,000 for 49 days
Yep.
doing nothing. He turns around and go to a coronation of a king where he even invite him. He stole away his way there. He goes the other day to go to the Jordan River and say he went to see Jesus Christ. He comes back with nothing. For all the trips this president has made, we could have had even 10 fire stations in the country.
Yeah, no fire
Absolutely.
station.
10 fire stations. The only one fire station since I was born, since I've known Liberia.
Ain't that the one there, my man? Oh, what the
It's on
street
Garden
name?
Street.
Yeah, Gully Street. That the
Garden
fire
Ashton
station. I know.
Ashman. Yeah.
Okay? You have all these public institutions. But let's come back to the Capitol Hill.
Yep.
The Capitol Hill is
Up
the
there near a
most
fire
functioning-
station. Yeah.
the most functioning
Yeah.
organ of the country. The Temple of Justice, the
Executive Mansion.
legislature, the executive mansion, the Minister of Information,
Ministry of Foreign
Minister
Affairs.
All the
the
people
Minister
around
of
up there.
Foreign Affairs,
Ministry of Lands and Ministry of Lands and Mines.
yeah, the
University of Liberia. Police headquarters.
police
Yeah.
headquarters, the Monrovia City Hall,
Yeah.
where Jefferson Koji bluffing. He even got fire truck. So how do you protect your city? Your city.
And
Let-
by
let
right, they
you-
should have their own ambulances.
Yeah, let's lead the cleaning of the day. Let's lead the
Yeah,
cleaning of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't
That's
even
what-
have a fire truck. You don't
Yeah.
even have an ambulance. And you say you're a city government.
Yeah.
Right? For
and
real? And
and
you're collecting tax from businesses.
yeah,
Where is the money going?
and
Why these,
citizens,
yeah,
everybody.
why these
Yeah,
people treating us like we stupid people?
and let me
Why these
ask,
people doing this to this country? Then when
people.
we talk, then they say, "Oh, you're just talking. Oh, yeah, all you can do." You gotta be so doggone stupid to accept that the things we're talking don't make sense. You gotta be stupid to say the things we're talking don't make sense. Because you live here in America, a lot of you who are in the diaspora and supporting the current nonsense in Liberia, your common little locales have fire station,
Yeah, fire
they have
department.
police department, they have functioning municipalities, they have ordinances,
They got
they-
sanitation,
all
water
of that,
services,
all
everything.
of that.
Even
Just small locales in the whole
and just
country,
yeah.
whole country is zero. Then you say we can't talk, but then we
So
see the president enjoying his life. We see the
and
finance minister enjoying his life. We see the Real City Corporation mayor enjoying his life. We see ministers then enjoying their lives. We see senators and lawmakers enjoying their lives. We see the justice heads enjoying their lives. And you say we shouldn't talk? Who will talk? If we don't talk, who will talk? Who
and
gonna talk?
and Volcano, what we're talking about, people, building homes, right? Like we're seeing hypothetically, you invest $100,000 into a home, but no vehicle can get to your house. When you are in crisis, how is the ambulance going to come to save you?
Hmm.
Have we
Yeah,
thought about that?
there's no ambulance, first of all.
No, let's assume that you have ambulances, right? The three of us on this show tonight, if anything happens to any of us, all it takes what is a phone call. Somebody will be at your door. But when you build a house in Liberia that costs $150,000 or whatever, you have to pass through someone's house before you get to your house.
Understand?
Yeah.
Vanessa say the guy won't fire truck right now to pass a young in the junkyard for 75,000. Working fire truck.
Comfort, Comfort Abu and Ama, the candidate declared too.
You want to retire in Liberia?
So,
You for real? You for real?
so someone may finish building your mansion, maybe after your house warming, then
And won't catch on fire.
your house
Or,
get your father. How the
It's,
fire service will get to you?
that's
or
what
doing or
matters.
doing or doing the house warming. They you gotta cut the refrigerator off to put it, the AC on.
Yeah.
Or you gotta turn everything off for the DJ
Yeah.
to play it because it amplifier.
Yeah. They say, oh, my man,
Yeah.
the brick are getting
That's
hot.
exactly. So when you hear the U.S. State Department issue travel restriction, travel
Yeah. These
warning
are things
for
that are considered,
safety, for
yeah.
security, those are the things that they're talking about.
Yeah.
You're a human being. The machine, the cars that were made, they were modeled after the human body. You can have problem anytime.
Of course,
You
yeah.
can break down. You can collapse anytime.
Anything.
Part of your bodies can start aching. And no matter how much money you have, that's why these systems and structures need to be put into place. That's why they are in place. That it's there for emergency because emergency is possible. It's there to improve quality of life. People die in Liberia and we think it's witchcraft. They die because they drink dirty water. They die because they live near trash,
Hmm.
and the rats and the insects and the flies come from them and cohabitate with them in their homes and sit on the food and all of that. You talk about cholera. You talk about all of these things. And there's no preventative care, which is what we're talking about now.
Hmm.
There's no curative care, which is you go to the measures comfort. We'll talk about people have to buy their own gloves and give them to the nurses before they get treatment.
Can you
And
imagine that?
I know a young man who died not long ago because he got sick in his house They put him on a I don't know how to call it, pimping or keke, whatever it is. They went to one hospital and the people said we ain't get oxygen here. So they went to a second hospital, no oxygen. They went to a third hospital, no oxygen. By the time they got him to JFK, the man already died.
Yeah.
I mean, is this a place? This is not a conducive place for anybody to go and say you're going to retire, going to live. However, again, this show is not intended to discourage you. It's intended, and Volcano, you made
To
that point.
educate you, yeah.
It's about our leadership. These things are simple fixes. We
Absolutely.
have the resources, we can fix these things very easily. It doesn't take very long to get an ambulance. It doesn't take very long to train people. Red Cross used to do it. To be able to do CPR and first aid. It doesn't take long to go to TNIMA and get some nursing students from there and hire one nurse and work with them. We have the facility. The mansion has a lot of room. Temple Justice has a lot of room. University has a lot of room. You can just establish a clinic right there. You do put some human being, put a few things. So
Mhm.
these things are doable, but it has to do with the leadership we have. Let's
Yeah.
even leave government and go to the university of Liberia. Why is it that the university administration doesn't even have a clinic on their campus?
What are you talking about, Alfonso? I
Even
don't
high school and elementary schools here have nurses and,
No,
and places in there.
Alfonso, I don't think you've
my
been fair
son
to the
elementary school
university.
has a nurse,
And nurses.
full-time nurse.
No, John, man, you guys are not being fair to the university administration.
Why?
Where's the money?
Oh,
But Edison University administration employ the president in Kenya. He say they
But
happy
thank you.
about the condition.
Thank you,
But
man,
Volcano.
but
the ceilings at the University of Liberia, the classroom, the ceilings are all falling. The buildings are leaking. Nobody is painting them. They say,
Who
"Wow,
told
you want
you?
to
The
clean it?"
president, as Volcano just
the
said, the
president was
president of
here.
the
Moses, let's
university
not do
said
that. Let's
the
not do that.
visitor is doing
But
great. They
it's
get
obvious
resources.
that the mayor had to protect his job.
Okay, so let's
Uh,
come to the intermission, gentlemen. Thank you, viewers, listeners. We're here in the Issues Room. This is our 173rd broadcast. This evening, we're discussing, retiring in Liberia. A lot of Liberians here in the diaspora have, been talking about going home. They want the tired working, the tired being here. The country too hot and this and that. And just how you hear me saying it, how they can say the country too hot, I won't go home. And I bid in my house. Soon as my house finish, I'm on my way. And they want to go home. But what are they going home to? And we talked about most of those things in terms of what is not in place and what government should be doing to put those things in place. And when people always say, you, what are you doing? No, we put government in power. We give government the authority to have authority over our resources as a country, as
Manage it
people, as
wisely.
citizens, to manage it in our favor. Volcano shelter alone cannot do anything in Liberia for rather for 5 point something million people. The government must take the initiative. The government must start, and we will follow. But again, we're here 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays and Fridays. We encourage you wherever you are in the world to love us, like us, follow us. This is where we enlighten. We are the hub for discussing the issues, the trending issues in the country. And it's not all about politics, it's about the well being of our people. And that's what we advocate. This platform has no political ties. And when people think that we are against a sitting government, you're wrong. But the sitting government needs to be discussed. The sitting government is the reason why we're having this conversation. Because when you take the helm of leadership, you said you were going to change. Your slogan is hope for change. What are you changing? What have you changed in 6 years? What are the changes made when there's a lack of rule of law? When the country is in darkness? When the country is in peril? When the health system is crappy? When the educational system is crappy? Everybody takes the national exam, they fail. When the police go to the academy, what are they learning? Are they learning traffic regulations when there's no regulations in the traffic?
But man, you talking about you don't have lives. What the people will
That's what I'm
regulate?
saying. But that's what I'm saying. So why don't they just scrap that course and not worry about join our course at the police academy
Yeah.
to say you have traffic police. What are they policing? What are they policing? They don't even look. They look disheveled. The uniform is faded to the point that it from navy blue to gray
Yeah.
to khaki. What are they? What are they? What are they trafficking? What are they? So a lot of things happen in our country, and the people say we shouldn't talk. No, the issues room to talk. We'll talk and we'll point it out and we'll discuss it. Now,
And Volcano, let me share this. If I you share a joke with me, you said the guy with the with the motorbike, he was carrying somebody who had a table over here like that.
yeah.
So what and the policeman will look at him and say, "My man, I mean, my man, the people they do that."
But here's the other.
Let me
Yes,
and
most Alphonso
Yeah.
said,
yeah, and when you're done, I will share
yeah.
a very quick statistics with you when you
So you had the other phone, right? The
yeah.
police
Yeah.
are standing in the traffic there. The boy violates the rule. The man go and tell the man, he said, "My man, I carry you to the police station." But to carry that man to the police station, you gotta
Yeah.
get on the other man motorbike. And the other man said, "Well, how you carry my man? You can't carry my
Yeah,
man. Not getting on my
yeah,
bike."
you're not getting on my bike.
The police man got nowhere to carry the man to the center. Because the other
The
man said,
policeman doesn't have a
"You carry,
vehicle of his own.
yeah." So how will you carry the man to central?
Can't carry a man.
But Alfonso and Moses, this is serious matter. This is serious matter. Why people can see this as a serious matter? How did our country come to this degradation? How did our country come to this lowest ebb of its existence? How did our country reach this point in you and myself lifetime when we were hopeful that our country will remain that place? Why these people brought war to this country? Why these people topple governments? Why these people kill 500,000 plus Liberians and still killing them today with no answers? Why? And
Where are
yet
the
we're still where
auditors?
we are. That's why I say killing them today with no answer. And
Mhm.
we're still where we are. We can't even brag of anything. I was driving this evening coming for the show, and I said, the argument I got in with somebody who I thought was educated. They said, "Oh, why you say that Ellen built a new airport?" I said, "You say a new airport? Is the Roberts International Airport a new airport that Ellen built? Or the Roberts International Airport is our only international existing airport, and a makeshift terminal was built on the airport?" I said the airport has components. When you say an airport, you're talking about a runway, you're talking about a terminal, you're talking about a hangar, you're talking about a control tower, you're talking about fueling facility, you're talking about shops, you're talking about wait
Yeah.
areas, you're talking
Mhm.
about restaurants.
Restaurants and all of
All
that.
of those things constitute
A
an
terminal.
airport.
Mhm.
But when Ellen cut the money to build a little full or gate air terminal, you're passing around. "Oh, we got a new airport. We got a new airport." I said, "That's how you call yourself educated, man. That's the argument you want to have with me? That Ellen Johnson Sally built new airport for real? Why we settle for this mediocrity in development, and then we think that we must give props? We are building all the roads in Liberia since 1847. Major corridors are now being cut, becoming impassable. Why can't we just say the truth for once? Why can't we just speak truth to power? Why can't we just tell government you have failed us? Why can't we just tell the president you have failed us? Why can't we just say to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, shut up? You didn't do much in 12 years. And you shouldn't be the one meddling and trying to put a government in power in our country only to cover up your debt. Why can't we just say that? Why we continue to pretend to ourselves? At the end of the day, where this country is going? Nowhere.
Let
But
me
let,
add something.
If I also wanted to say
Mhm.
something,
Let
come
me
here.
add something else because you guys mentioned it, which is traffic, the traffic situation in the country, which has to do with our road network, which has to do with the police enforcing traffic rules, and people respecting traffic rules, the effectiveness of vehicles. These are the factors that contribute to traffic accidents. Liberia is third in the world when it comes to road accidents, and Liberia is first in the world when it comes to deaths in terms of traffic accidents.
Oh yeah,
For
that's
every
a high rate. Yeah.
1,000 people, 35 Liberians die of traffic accident. For every 1,000 people in our population, 35 die of traffic accident. I did the research today. I was looking at something. I said, "Let me look at this thing," and I did a research. And this is research by the World Bank. I think it's two other countries. Uh, I believe Dominican Republic and Zimbabwe before Liberia in terms of traffic accidents. But when it actually comes to deaths, Liberia is number one. What does that tell us? You guys were speaking to it earlier. What is our roadworthiness, first of all? Our roads. Our roads. People driving on different sides of the road, whatever. Police,
Creating personal lanes. Don't
yes,
Because they
create
got 10 lanes.
put
So when the
that
lanes
lane.
advancing
no
towards
traffic
you, you
light,
gotta
no
go off.
stop
No,
Yeah.
sign, no
no traffic lights.
how can you
Police
drive?
in police enforcement of traffic rules. Defective vehicle. People driving no brake. The brake just go out, it just run into somebody.
But it break down and they fix the car around the road.
Run
They
the road,
fix the
yeah.
It
car
will
right
be
there.
1 week. They will be on that road for 1 week.
So you turn in the curve and you see that broken down car, you just run into it.
Okay.
So yes, Liberia has the highest traffic deaths in the world. I mean, that's the type of dysfunction that we have in that country. That's the type of leadership we have in that country who don't even care about these little things. They don't care.
And and one thing that I think we shouldn't even forget to talk about is the lack of auto insurance. They claim that people have auto insurance policies. But what I have read about and what people have told me,
No, I will let you finish. Then I
eh,
will tell you gotta have a put car insurance on. I mean insurance on
yeah,
my car. You
yeah,
like so I will tell you. I will share my.
yeah. I'm told that even if your vehicle runs into an accident, say you hit someone's vehicle, you and I know, yeah, that if I'm driving or you driving or Volcano is driving, if any of us run into an accident and we are in the wrong, it is obvious that our insurance provider will repair the other person's vehicle. Will also repair our vehicle depending on the kind of coverage that we have. Let's say you have comprehensive. They will repair your vehicle, they repair the other person's vehicle, and all you have to pay is what? The deductible. But I'm told that in Liberia, when any of these things happen, no redress.
So Moses.
So why you pay all that premium?
So Moses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
First of all, when you
Mhm.
ship a car, that's why I stopped shipping cars. When you ship a car and you
Yeah,
get a car free from the free port,
yeah,
you need to get uh the registration, everything intact, and get your plate.
yeah.
I have paid for plate at the Ministry of Transport up to the point that I left Liberia and I never got the plate, and the plate was released to somebody else, and the person using the plate.
Can you imagine that?
I went to the insurance company.
Hmm.
The insurance company guy told me the premium was 100. No, it was $300.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, "My man, they think that just to pull so the police can bother you. So
Oh,
put a sticker on." I said, "So if something happens, what happens?" He said, "Just call my call card."
oh, oh, no, no. No.
They give me a call card. I said, "Call my call card."
That's ridiculous.
And so just so you don't be bothered by these guys,
Yeah.
you will make the roadblocks. So you put the insurance in your car
And they say you have insurance.
just so you can be bothered. It has nothing to do with accident or redress or anything. Nothing.
Wow.
I will tell you. I rented a guy car that I parked at my cousin's hotel. That man came from nowhere, 1 o'clock in the morning, drunk, coming from the scene up the hill, the foreign ministry.
And
They
ran
ran
into the
into the
Mecca.
Bella Casa Hotel, broke the gate down, and demolished the guy car. I
Damn
mean, the
it.
car is literally parked in the fence of the hotel.
Yes.
and they got bulldozed away, lost control, and went.
Yeah.
The man car he got insurance. The car owner came. He said we'll go to his mechanic to go fix the car.
Hmm.
The mechanic charge. The man said the money too much. The car owner said, but I don't care what the money too much. You gotta
I
fix.
just want my car fixed.
The man said, hey, Chi, I beg you. Let me just get you 200. You can add something there so you can fix it. So I'm telling you a real story.
Yeah.
So now I'm the man for America.
Yeah, you had to show them that.
I mean, that's the man look at me. He said, my man, are you already in my car? Oh? You
Yeah.
gotta
So,
step in. Oh.
oh,
I
you.
said, well, how is stepping? My man, they make it from nowhere and damage your car. You just
Yeah.
send the car apart.
Yeah.
So the car owner said, I mean, the accident car owner said, you know, I gotta face your own thing. I gotta face my own.
So who cares?
Yes, so you just help me. And the time my car sitting down and I'm running, I'm getting no money. So let me just find small thing for the mechanic, and then you put the other thing there. But man, at the end of the day, I myself getting stranded. I need a
Yeah.
car. I need to move
Yeah.
it
You
around.
see?
I
Well,
gotta step
we
in.
gotta fix the car.
I'm giving you an example of the
Yeah.
reality of
Mhm.
Liberia.
Yeah.
Somebody does something to you, the insurance of that person is no man.
I tell you, can you
Sorry,
imagine?
sorry. And when you start to hold that person, the crowd will come and say, but hey, the man, I tell you sorry. Hey, man, I tell you sorry. What you getting involved with the man for? The man told you sorry, man.
C'est pas bien où sport est, oh.
Yeah, sorry that the insurance in Liberia. Sorry that the lawsuit in Liberia.
Yeah.
Sorry that all you can get are your redress in Liberia. You can take your Hummer. You can take your what they call it, what they call
Yeah,
what?
likes us.
No, come on, your Tesla.
Yeah, yeah.
Take your Tesla to Liberia, or motorboy ball will come from nowhere, do
And run
300
into it.
degree, damage your car. He will just get out and start falling to his feet and tell you sorry. Or maybe his man then will jump on you and say, you stupid, eh? You see the motorboy man, now the man down. He didn't even know what the man did. They care. Like
No,
you would
they
be.
want defend the man. Yeah, they want defend the man.
Is that a country you want to retire into when you go with your Tesla? Is that a country you want to be passing around with no traffic light, with no stop sign, with no rule of law? That's the point we're making. And these are the realities, gentlemen. Until you go to Liberia, I will be in Liberia in October. I will be there for the elections. And the reality is there. And I'm making this point clear so that the world knows that I'm coming. And I will report what I see. And it will be live. It will be no made-up stories. No made-up stories. We'll be there for the elections. We'll cover the elections factually.
So,
But we're talking
Volcano.
about these things, Moses, quickly. We're talking
Mhm.
about these things so that the reality is what it is. We're not bad moving in our country. I'm still going to go there. I'm going to be there like what you call live like the Romans do. I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
And
But
I'm
you
going
just
to
saying the truth. Yeah.
I'm going to assimilate. I'm going to manage myself because I've been there since 2012. I've been going to Liberia every year. So I'm able to assimilate and adapt. But Moses, you cannot adapt.
No.
Alphonso, I don't think you've been there anytime soon. You cannot adapt. And that's for many other people. And that's the reality on the ground. Your insurance, your fallback, all they will tell you, sorry, yeah. But don't ever get in crashes with a motorbike man. They will jump you. They will hurt you. If not easily, kill you. If no one there to talk for you or fight for you. It is the reality. That's the reality of the ground. You saw what happened in Soklin the other day. These videos are coming out. We're not making these things up. You saw what happened in Soklin. The motorbike men that blocked the road. They said nobody go, no traffic.
Yeah, they block the whole place. Yeah.
So that's the society you find yourself in.
Lawless society. So the, oh, sorry. So then, Volcano, the other question I wanted to ask, right? Say you have a quote unquote insured vehicle, and while driving, you run into somebody and kill that person. So then, what happens?
Well,
Who takes the responsibility
y'all go
for
talk. Y'all go talk.
that?
Y'all go on the mat and talk.
So your insurance will not even do nothing.
But man, I say, yo, go talk. The
I
insurance,
mean, you can sue the insurance, but it's
the
just
insurance will come in, but
run around.
what? Sometimes the insurance said they'll buy the casket, but who would do the grave?
So
And
you kill someone's son, all they tell you say they buy the casket. So who responsibility is it to honor right the cost of that funeral and
well,
even provide some compensation for the family?
But man,
that's the court system, and it's a long process. You don't want to keep your son waiting. So, but to address the issue of traffic problems in the country, and I wanted to mention this point because it's worse now. Um, Anna Ellen, one of the things she did was eventually, given the danger, removed motorbike riders and stuff, and said you cannot be plying major highways.
Okay.
You have to go to the arteries. So the taxi can bring somebody, for example, to
Moses,
Yeah.
someone's like, why you say you need to go on a group trip with us?
Okay.
so
Definitely.
people going, for example, let's say to Banavie Estate. The taxi brings you and puts you down to Banavie Estate. The motorbikes then ply the route from the Banavie Estate junction
Get inside.
into the estate. So they're not coming on the main road going to Monrovia and other. That was put into place. And that reduced a lot of traffic accidents and deaths. But
Hmm.
when the CDC government took over, Mr. Weir, wanting politically to endear himself to motorbike riders and whatever, said, no, you can now apply all of the major routes. So part of the traffic problem and the deaths and the accidents we have in the country, it's originated from that political decision that was made, not taking into consideration the safety concerns, and not even reading the reports about traffic accidents and traffic deaths in Liberia.
And not even making attempt to correct it.
Yep, absolutely.
I am told now that there's a high rate of motorbike, accidents, and a good number of the motorcyclists have become, affected by that.
My
A
own
lot of young
cousin,
men,
Sarah, not cutting
yeah,
you off. My
mhm.
own first cousin was sitting on a motorbike, and the guy was weaving, and he hit a car, and he fell off, and he died.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yes,
yeah. I mean, it's scary. But colleague Patel says here, you sue the insurance company for 5K and the defendant pays a judge 1K. The case is thrown out to the curb.
yeah,
The judge prefers the benefit at your expense than to dispense justice.
It's
What
sad.
type of country is this?
What type of country is this? I mean, what type of country is this that
or the police that are investigating just kill your kids, and they
how
don't even
how do
present
you
that.
sell an insurance policy to somebody and you tell the man, say, oh my man, anything here is just for the police not to bother you?
Not about me. But yeah, my call card. What type of country is this? Yeah, my call card. Man, give me a
Wow.
call card.
Ooh, it's sad.
Moses.
Yeah.
So Moses, I think the reality here to this conversation is enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we said it from the onset that this is not to demean the value
Yeah.
of our country. It is to point to the bad governance of our country and what the government has failed to do. I said it that Ghana made preparation for the great renaissance of blacks from the diaspora to return to Ghana. They made preparation. They put in systems and facilities, rule of law, and all of those things to be the attracting incentives to bring people back home. On the contrary, our government, our society is doing nothing, nothing to attract investment, to attract its own citizens. For instance, one of the ways to incentivize the return of Liberians is to say that if you have made up your mind to retire in Liberia, Moses, are you with me?
I'm listening.
We're going to give you duty free at the free port of Monrovia to ship your 2 containers to come.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's an example. I'm just giving you an example.
I know. Yeah.
But Milton Tiaje openly said to the world that he has the freedom, duty free, to ship 2 containers
Oh wow.
to Liberia.
So
So
what
you gave
what
a
gives him that right?
either
Yeah.
two container or 2 cars, but I think it was 2 containers, whatever it was. But he has that immunity
To
to
ship.
get that.
Yeah.
But the average Liberian man who has come to this
Yeah.
country,
And
contributed through remittances of his
paying taxes
hard-earned
as
money,
well. Yeah.
and have done investment in the country, building his home, and wants to retire,
Mm-hmm.
you don't give him in
Such
duty-free
privilege.
incentive to be able to come home. That's I'm just giving you some of the things that I
I know
think
it's sad.
every day. But because of this whole greed and corruption, Moses, you always say greed, greed, greed. That is
Yeah.
why. Alfonso, before you came back, I was saying that one of the ways to incentivize the retirement of Liberians is to say, since you build your house, here's the evidence. We'll send our inspector to come to see your house. You better come home. You can ship 2 containers of all your things you want to bring free.
Mhm.
Nobody open one item. Just
Mhm.
pay for your shipment. When you get to the free port, you can't collect your container.
But in fact,
And
what you
that's
see,
a way,
mhm,
and that's a way, and that's really a great idea. That's a way of bringing a lot of resources and investment revenue into the country. And these people come, they're coming with money, they're coming to spend money. And you mentioned earlier the issue with Ghana when they said the year of return, when they
Yeah,
did the
yeah,
year of
that's
return.
the great
Part
return.
of the things they put into place was one of the things they know is that when people go back, they will stay in hotels, they will spend money, they will boost the economy. They also said once you come and you're black, you can buy land here and you can become a Ghanaian citizen. Because they know once the people go and start building and investing as citizens, start opening businesses, it improves the economy. That's very similar to what to your suggestion. When people retire from here, they're going with capital. They're going with money that they can spend into the economy. The man or woman has already built a house. Now they're bringing containers and stuff. Even if they're just living on their retirement money, social security, whatever, that's foreign exchange that's being brought into the country. They're spending money that, they're infusing revenue into the economy. So that's really great idea.
And
But
add this part,
yeah,
the being the houseboy,
yep,
the being the driver,
they're
absolutely.
creating
the
jobs for
watchman,
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being the
absolutely.
yard boy,
Yep,
The
right?
driver.
absolutely. Absolutely. So these are ideas, these are things that people with great minds sit down and think about. But if the whole idea is to just dance and celebrate and sing and give people a few cups of rice as a way of something and teach the children to say Zekwe, Zekwe every day. I mean, I'm so fascinated by the decision in Sierra Leone, and I keep talking about it, to address infant and maternal mortality. It's very high in Sierra Leone, just as high as it is in Liberia. When women get pregnant, because they don't get prenatal care or whatever, they have difficult childbirth, they die in childbirth. It's very high in Liberia. It was high in Sierra Leone. Or the children born, they don't have the care because when the
You're
mother was
right.
pregnant, they didn't get that care, and the children
Healthcare.
born, they
Yeah.
don't have the care. The children die before they reach 5, 6, 7. What did the government of Sierra Leone do? Every pregnant woman gets free health care. Every child born today up to the age of 5 gets free health care. Again, it's brains to address the issue of maternal and infant mortality. Again, just as you said, how do we address the issue of people going on and infusing money into our economy? That's just a great idea that you just raised. But
Let me just remind people we have the lines open tonight. It's 404-272-2808. Please call. This is not about questioning or anything. Just make your comments. We want to hear from you. What do you think about Liberians who are trying to, oh man, mute your mic. what do you think about Liberians who are trying to go back home and retire. Is the country ready for them? For those of you who've been going to Liberia, if you're building your home right now, do you really think you're ready to go home? Is the country ready for you? The economy, the healthcare sector, the educational? Because I'm sure when you retire, you may be carrying some of your family members who will go, they need to go to school. Somebody's calling from Rhode Island. It's 737. Let's hear from you quickly. Your name?
Yeah, what kind of formal Livingstone?
Good to have you, Flomo. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern is, I mean, the fire truck in Liberia. Each time when I travel in various counties, there's no a single fire truck. I mean, in Morovia, the only two fire truck that there is parked closer to the president house. That's the fire truck that JMB brought to the country. Since then, the current president hasn't been able to bring any fire truck. I mean, that's
Wow.
complete disaster because every horses in Liberia is like a prison
Yeah.
because you have to
Yeah.
have like two or three doors, iron doors, the regular door. So when there's fire, I mean, it's very hard for people to escape.
Everybody will die.
That people die, you can't call the fire truck. The fire truck will not come. And last day again, like the alleys. So even when you call fire truck, all the houses, the way they build the
Yeah.
houses, there's no complete good alleys where car
Yeah.
can pass through to come to you quickly. So
Mm.
that's most of the. I mean, that's some of the things that the government should address, whether the current government or the incoming government. Thank you.
Do you think we need to break down some of these places through eminent domain? In fact, you know what? If I were president in Liberia tomorrow, I'm not giving eminent domain. I'm not paying back nobody. If you literally decided to build in the alley knowing that it was wrong, I will break it down and you will find your way somewhere. What do you think?
Exactly,
No.
I agree
But
with you 100
Listen, you're
percent
coming.
because
You're coming.
I
yeah.
mean I 100
Yeah,
percent because
because
I mean
if you
they
know
know
that it's wrong and you literally do that, then we'll
they
just
should
break it
not pay
down.
them.
Yeah,
They should not pay them a cent because you know very well that it's an alley and you went and building. Each time you tell them because when I have some few neighbors who build in the alley, I told them say, "Oh man, the government not ready to build a road." So, but why are you using your money to do that? In case you want to ready to build a road, then when the government ready to destroy it, then you say you don't want it to destroy, you want it to pay you. I don't think you should pay them a single cent because they know that and they go build it.
yeah.
Okay.
So there's no law
So
requiring the
that's it.
government.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
sorry, yeah. There's
Thank you.
no law requiring the government to pay anybody who built illegally, at all. I mean, government can do it just to compensate you because a citizen they want to help you to find a place to stay. If the land is legally yours and the government takes it, that's
Decides to
when
use the
eminent
land,
domain comes
and
in. That's when
eminent
they
domain
pay you.
comes into place.
But
Unfortunately, Moses,
mhm.
they're doing eminent domain on the Robertsville Highway when people build on the road past the 20 feet, mark, because you must build 20 feet away from the major road. The alley, you cannot put your fence on the boundary. You should go 2 feet and create that space because if we had to develop the alley, we need to put sidewalk. And that's where. But these people who got money in Liberia, the government officials, they build until they build on the very boundary.
Yep.
To the point that now some of the little roads that Mr. Weah is putting through the little corridors, there's no sidewalk. It's almost just one way to go, and instead of dealing with the situation, no, they're adding to the situation. Let's take another caller calling from Pennsylvania, 2182. Welcome to the issues room. You're live, your name.
My name is Comfort Abu.
Hold on, Comfort. Let me put this caller in queue. Mr. Koli Pato, good evening. Welcome to the issues room. I'll come back to you. We have a caller in queue. I'll come back to you. Please hold. Go ahead, Comfort.
Yes, so thank you guys for having me on.
You're
Welcome.
welcome.
First time here in the issues room.
So I was in Liberia in January of
Mhm.
this year,
Was it
and I
your
stayed.
first time? Hold on. Was it your first time? Let me quiz you because I didn't.
First time in 30 years.
It was my first time.
Okay, tell me your experience of the first time. Quick, Koli, please hold. We'll come to you. Go ahead.
The first frustration I had was at the airport.
Okay.
Before they could get my luggage, my laptop was gone.
Wow.
Oh Jesus.
That was the first one for me.
Welcome to LRB.
Then the second frustration, book your
Oh,
room online, Farmington Hotel, famous Farmington Hotel.
Uh-huh.
I got there. They don't have anything. All the men who was at the computer, the men not here. But I paid.
What you talking
I
about?
showed everything to them, but we got to check it out.
Man,
You
don't
have
Liberia is a joke, my man.
$200 for one night.
Yeah,
Liberia is a joke, my man.
Go ahead.
So they were able to go through wherever they did. I got in. One bath towel, one little standing body wash. Take shower in the morning. Oh, they got a buffet breakfast.
Yeah.
I go there, they got barbecue chicken wings. What?
I know many people are jokers.
Barbecue chicken wing for breakfast.
You know, I was so gravy, also this butter for
Can you imagine it take you $200 a night, my man?
so can make you fry egg. No, even a burger, I don't want fry egg. I had to leave that early.
They
We
say,
call
sister,
hospital, nobody could come, so we could not even get fire in the morning.
they say,
Because there was
sister
no
will
bath
beg you
hour,
will fry you egg.
no house for nothing. That was the second thing. Then the scary part on the Rawa highway. So when you come just outside the corridor of the airport,
Yes, man, going to work, Joblo Town.
no, so you come out there, there's a whole pillow with trash. At the airport, with trash. I said, okay, maybe it's just the trash truck will come tomorrow. After 5 weeks, I got back there. It was still
The same trash was waiting for you.
and the annoying thing I got in the town. You can't sleep because we were stopping SD Cooper Road.
Oh,
Long Blue, Orange data, all between the house.
yeah, don't stop me already did that. My man, the noise.
There's megaphones, where you got them from?
Oh, they got a megaphone, people?
Yeah, they're just walking all over the place. Don't stop, man. Don't stop me. So morning before they can break my man, all over the place. You gotta wake up.
Because I ship my own paper, so transport, wasn't bad. The problem for me. I got a driver. When I told him I would get him $100 for the money, the guy couldn't believe it because they usually pay them $50, $60.
Yeah, they got too happy.
Or two security guys. So everywhere I go, one holding my handbag, I'm still. So
$100, my man, mom.
Hold on, Kofa. Let me tell my man, calling people will come to you.
Kofa, right? Getting the people to know.
Go ahead, Kofa.
It's just scary that you can't even. So he says, sister, you got to buy one of the $10 spoon to be holding in your hand. So when somebody calls, because basically American food, somebody will slap you and take it. I have to buy one of the $10 local phones.
Yeah.
So, but out of curiosity, I went all the way in Niku Town. These people that are jumping up for George. Let me see how they're living. I mean, how they call Funde. Whatsoever. It was my first time passing Redemption Hospital. So I'm just driving around seeing these people. You got to jump over somebody's copa to reach to somebody's room. But when you talk about Georgia, oh, they want to fight you. I'm like, whoa. Then I went in West Point. Right down from Ashburn, is that McLean and Ashburn Street. No car goes down Waterside. You got to walk or some keke. We walk and reach all the way inside West Point to the market. Out of curiosity, I have my two security guys, so I didn't. I went to the famous JFK. The nurse is sitting in the front. Somebody come, patient, and she's selling the gloves. You got to buy the gloves from her before she can do your vitals.
Amen.
Somebody is dying. I cried. That was too much for me. I mean, somebody coming there shivering, whether it's malaria, and the next thing, by the time they bought, first thing, oh, you gotta buy drips. What do you know is wrong with this person that you hate?
It's not the shit. It's not drips, so you put water on them.
So a lot of them got diabetes from the rice that they are eating, the sugar too high in it, and then they go into shock. Oh, the person get stroke. Then the next thing, that person going to some church. They leave the hospital now. They're going to some pastor. The pastor now start to find your enemies that your family people.
Yeah.
And then this again, the church. The people have taken to the church. They're even going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Your crooks calling themselves pastors. They beat every or a pastor because that's the easiest way to get rich. This pastor, he wearing the best of shoes. The church member got 2 different fold of slippers. When they went to church, they financial breakthrough. I see money coming their way. People going to the embassy to get visa. They're not going to study the question. They're going to the pastor to pray. Yeah. So I mean, that was my experience. Then coming back to the airport, oh man, you can't go until you get a yellow fever vaccine. I said, but why you worry? I'm going to America. There's me and American government. I said, okay, who here to do the check? Oh, you got to pay $20 US. I said, when? I said, okay, well, when I get to the airport or JFK, then they will send me back to say I didn't have yellow fever vaccine. Oh, sister, bring 1,000. I said, I can't give you anything because the point that you keep to lie, that's why I will not give you. But as things will happen, the change that left with me.
You still got to get something.
You got to get something.
Yeah.
But everybody, the ones I say they checking your bag, oh, you're not supposed to have small lotion, they're stealing it from you. Nothing. So that was just, and I would not advise anybody. It was in my mind. Oh, when I retire, I will move to Liberia. But what I saw,
You gotta tell Mr. Abu.
Hopefully, by the time you retire, things will get better.
Everything is fine with you. But other than that, please, you go there. Once you get sick, you know you are about to die. So that's my experience with America. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Mrs. Abu.
Collie been waiting a while. Collie Bata, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, welcome to the show, my man. What you make of everything being discussed here tonight?
Man, I am just sitting back and just going back in time when I'm listening to Comfort, as you know, she just made her revelation. I mean, and she just spoke on some of the things that I was just thinking about. I mean, our system, like you talk about breaking down people's homes that are built in the alleyway. Well, at least you forget that those people have deeds for those alleyway, and they were provided to them by the Ministry of Lands and Mines, which is the government entity responsible for that. They don't care, where you got the land, long as you have hand out to give them, they are willing to sign your deed and give it to you. So that's a problem. That's a serious problem there. So another thing this lady talked about, the yellow fever certificate, the yellow fever book, the people made it so much difficult to get through the airport because the yellow fever book. I have to say you bring in malaria from America or yellow fever from America to Africa. And so you get there. I remember there was one year I traveled there. This guy told me I did not have the yellow fever certificate, so he would not allow my documents to be signed for me to disembark the airport. So I said to him, okay, so how do we resolve this issue? He said, well, you have to take the vaccine. I said, okay, how much is the vaccine? Jude told me it was $20 to take the vaccine. So I said, okay, I paid him the $20. He went and brought the yellow fever book to me, signed and stamped that I have completed the treatment. I was like, whoa, bro, we have a problem. He said, what's the problem? He said, I took care of you, man, you're good. I already took care of you, everything okay, you're good to go. I said, no, I paid for vaccine. I mean, I knew I was not going to take vaccine.
Yeah, why can I take a vaccine?
I paid for vaccine. So why don't you give me my vaccine that I paid for? He said, no, you don't need a vaccine. You're okay. I said, all right, who's the most senior, customer?
You made it made the panic, my man.
They showed me one guy. So I went, I said, well, your man took $20 from me. I said, $20 guy came to him, what is that money? What is that money? They took, give me the man money. The man gave him the money. He took my passport from him. The same yellow fever book he carried in the office. He came back and he brought me two $10 bills. Even though I want $20 bill, I get the guy. He gave me $10 back. I said, my man, I took care of everything you do. Anytime you come here, you have problem here, just let me know. I said, well, we have bigger problems.
What's about the other $10?
Because I'm actually was calling for the most senior officer because I wanted to take a complaint to the Ministry of Finance, to the Ministry of Finance for it to speak with the Customs Commissioner, and also to the Ministry of Health to speak to the person in charge of public health, so they can know that you guys have committed fraud here because you gave me a certificate signed and everything. The guy gave it to me and said I took a vaccine, and I did not take any vaccine. And he took my money. Now I brought you on here as a senior officer just so you can be a witness to this thing. And now you have taken $10 out of the money. So I need your name and your badge number because I want to include you in the complaint. He said, no. You cannot include me in the complaint. You and the man have a problem. I came to solve the problem. I said, yeah, now you are a part of the problem because you just took money. So he said he started calling for witnesses. He called 2 other police officers. My man, come here. And another immigration. My man, come here. You here giving the man his $10 back. When you're complete, where you carry the finance ministry or to help ministry, I don't want my knee in it. I know nothing but your case. give me the $10 back. I mean, it's just a systemic issue. Like I was saying, when you get in Liberia, so you get off the plane. I mean, once the plane starts, they gotta come to you and say, my man, we the one cleaning the plane, or you got something for us. You give it to them, you give them something for them. By the time you come, the first group you're gonna hit is the Ministry of Health people. When you hit them, they say, oh, when you want to see your COVID vaccine, want to see your yellow fever vaccine, even if you have it, it will stay holding and don't want to release it to you and say, my man, we're on the ground, so what you get for us? You have to get them something. Come down the stair, you go to immigration. When you get to immigration, they say, we don't want holding the ground. Where you coming from, my man? What, you're American citizen? Bro, you holding my passport in your hand. What do you think I am? Okay, we don't want holding the ground, yeah. And so what you get for your man there? So the man that will squeeze you, they will take something out of you. You go to baggage claim now, oh, my man, your bag, and we'll collect the bag for you. Somebody will start holding your bag, bringing it down, asking for your knee, take your body parts from you. I mean, I'll bring your bag to you. You want it on a cut. By the time you get outside the car loader there, my brother, like, hey, then the extra bag up there will come. So it's just a prelude to what you expect to get when you get into your community. So they initiate you from the airport. So the system is just as such that, I mean, people are just corrupt-minded. I don't think it's the government alone. I mean, we Liberians by nature, we are just corrupt. You go to the hospital, like this lady was saying, no matter what emergency you have, they will not give you treatment until you have money to get. Okay, the medication that are given to those clinics by the United States government from taxpayer money, they take them in there and they sell them to people. If you don't have money, you're not going to get treatment. You know, the market women like you were talking about, they putting candle wax in the cup, knocking the cup bulk into measure the rice. You buy 2 cups of rice, you still cannot have a whole cup full of rice to eat. And, you know, the gallon oil, people mixing it with water. I mean, the greens, people mixing the yellow one in between and tying it to sell to you. I mean, we just by nature corrupt. This is why when they put us in public office, you know, like the lady was talking about the pastors, our nation is only developed to the extent of which its people are educated. You see, China is developed today because China put out thousands of engineers every year. What do we produce in Liberia? Pastors and accountants. And, you know, pastor and accountant. The only guy, I mean, the pastor knows his easy way to make money by working the bank and, you know, taking people money, playing on the intelligence of the marketeer who don't know how much money they have in the building, luxury houses and buying cars for the people money. And then you come again to the churches, like that lady was saying, everybody needs miracles, you know, prosperity gospel that, you know, God have millions for you out there. You just got to sow seed. And this is the order of the day because people are not prioritizing what they should be prioritizing in the country. Education will bring development. But everyone decide now they want to find the easy path, and this is where we find ourselves. So corruption is killing us. So if you take these people already embedded with these corrupt symptoms and you put them in government, what do you expect? And there's no check and balance. Our system was built to have check and balances, but the executive, the legislative branch works for the executive. The judicial branch works for the executive. There's no check and balance in our system. Of course, we will be polluted by corruption. And this is just my take I want to put in here today. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you.
It's good having you. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very insightful way to put it. And that's why we continue to emphasize these things, that our country will remain where it's at or even retrogress further until government can put in place the systems and enforceability aspect of those systems, those policies, those laws, rule of law to follow. You know, we listen. Every citizen is capable, okay, but sometimes we cut corners if there's nothing on us. You and I work in employment here in this country. If I had a leeway to do some corrupt things, I would do it. I would do it. But because there's a system in place to check me, And my conscience tells me that I will lose my job, so I will not take the chance to do it. So I must follow the rules and regulations. What do I mean? Flip the coin, go to Liberia. People corrupting the country, corrupting the system, no recourse. No one does anything to them. It's not that the laws are not on the books, it's not that the system are not there in place, but the enforceability aspect. So if the president is himself corrupt, then his lieutenants will practice after him. If the minister himself is corrupt, then his lieutenants under him will practice after him. But if the lieutenant and the president is standing tall and holding their heads above waters and say, I dare anyone to do XYZ because you can't point finger, I have not done it, then people will be responsible in their roles. They'll be responsible in the roles. But when nobody cares, they create amok. They create a society of amok. Everyone goes helter skelter. Everyone does what he or she wants to do. So, so enforceability is critical because man by nature is weak. Every one of us here are born with some kind of corruption in us. Some kind of corruption in us. And corruption is not just the taking of money. If you are a kid growing up and your father said go outside and play and 6 o'clock sharp come in the house and you choose to come in 6:30 and your dad said, okay, you came in 6:30, all right, at least you're in the house, go to bed. You go outside again, you come 7. But if your dad chastises you for coming in 6:30 the first time and said the next time you go out and don't come in 6 o'clock, it would be worse. You'll come in 6 o'clock. That's where corruption starts, when you allow your kids to do something and let them go by and you start to bend the rule. Because the truth is, when you give an inch, they take a foot or they take a mile. And that's the same thing in leadership. That's the same thing when we lead people. When you always do not use the policy and implement those tools that are to hold people accountable, and you slack off on it because yourself is guilty of the crime or of the acts, because you're afraid that somebody knows your deed, then nothing happens, gentlemen.
And to support that point, Volcano, unless there are 3 or 4 things. And you're very right. The reason why the ordinary person doesn't want to stand in line for bus or to get in line for things is because cutting line is the only way that they can get the thing they want to get, the thing they need to get. That is it. That is the culture. That's the system. The system requires that the only way you get to that thing is you bribe somebody. The only way you open your business, if you want to open your business, go to find out, is you have to bribe somebody. You have bribe somebody coming. So people do it. That's the reason why they do it. The second point is this lack of enforcement. Curly made excellent points. He talked about how the U.S. government provide drugs to these people, but the people charge people there. Enforcement. Enforcement. Is Don't tell me that not a single person has left a clinic and hospital and reported that the people charge me. No, people report, but there's no enforcement of the rules and of the law. It falls on the authorities. They're not enforcing these things. The third point is accountability, holding people accountable, punishing them publicly so people know, taking them to court and convicting them, taking things away from them or sending them to jail. So you sent a message. In accountability, when we started it, there's a deterrence. The idea is to deter people. When somebody come, like the lady who beat the other girl recently, if we punish her, and take her to jail, other people will be cautious. They will be deterred from doing it because they don't want to suffer that fate. The problem we have is we don't hold people accountable for their actions. Whether they steal government money and buy big house, they even buy houses, buy a big huge mansion for their mother dead body, and we don't do nothing, and they go back and become senators and stuff or run for senator. Traditional leaders, everybody we sell. They come to our churches, we honor them because they will give money. There's no accountability. And the fourth thing is leaders. Our leaders set the wrong example. So the minister, the representative, the senator think that they're not supposed to respect, for example, traffic rules. They create tail lane for themselves. They're going. And you know what happens? I haven't been there, but people come from there tell me, and Volcano, you can tell us. When they create a tail lane and the car going, motorbike jump behind them on that tail lane. Let the driver join them behind that tail lane.
It's a corridor. Yeah.
So now they have created a tail lane for everybody to follow. Those are the four factors that are killing us. Human being, you're right, Volcano. Human being by nature wants to get ahead. The first law of nature is self-preservation. We want to get ahead, want to get what we want to do. The only thing that constrains us is the system and the law.
That's it. Every man is corrupt.
Every human
Every
being.
man.
Who tell you no corruption in America? They tell you white people are not corrupt? That's a lie. They're very corrupt. Who tell you they don't? As you said, Volcano, if the policeman pull me over and can give him $50 or $10, $5 go, I would give it to him. But I can't even try it because the policeman said we'll receive it. But I can't even try it. It's the system, it's the structure. So it falls back on all of those things. If the only way I can register my business is the only way I can get my child in the school, is the only way I can get you went and pay money, legitimate money to get insurance on your car. The man said, "Yeah, hold my business card, they'll go and do whatever." What stops me from doing the same thing? That's the problem in our country. And I want to end here because we've run out of time. It's after 9. So.
Moses,
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
ask you this question so you can answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Moses,
Yeah.
you tell me, honestly, do you see any fixability for Liberia, even if we are took another 6 years? I think you're the only man can tell me this.
If we are wins another 6 years,
Yeah. I'm just thinking, yeah. And even
look,
that, no, hold on, Moses. I want
uh,
to be honest here. And I'm gonna
that's
give
the honest thing I'm
yeah,
trying to give
yeah,
you.
but I'm also gonna
Mhm.
give we the benefit of the doubt. Do you think Bwaka, do you see flexibility? Do you think Cummins, you see flexibility? I mean, let's be practically honest, because there's something called ingrained in the nature, systemic. What we're asking for is not to fix it tonight, not to fix it in 6 years, but the attitude, the willpower to begin to say we're going to do something about it. We don't see it now. That's the reason I asked this question. Do you see it? If we are came to power for 6 years now and we don't see the prospect of fixability, do you think giving another 6 years would make a difference? Or any of the opposition, would they have the willpower to improve our country and make us a society that respects the rule of law?
Excellent question.
That would take us, and I know you can answer this question, that's why I ask you, that would take us at least somewhere closer to our counterparts. I rest my case. Go ahead, make your case.
Thank you. I'll answer this question from different perspectives. First,
And when you answer,
mhm,
Alfonso will add his own there. Then we'll
mhm,
close and we'll go to memory lane and whatever country is this. Okay,
mhm.
3 minutes each.
Okay. So first, I would like to say the greatest problem we have in Liberia is a culture of impunity, and it is an age-old problem. We can't attribute everything to Mr. Weir. We saw that during the old time, Salif time, Samuel Doe, Salif time, Wulan Toba, and today the problem has exacerbated. And it is often said that to predict the performance of someone is the best predictor of someone's future performance is what? Past performance. So I'm saying this to say that if Mr. Weir is giving another 6 years, what we have seen for the past 5 years plus,
Oh
the
God.
situation will be exacerbated.
Is your hat anywhere around? Is your hat anywhere around? You say the question is good, but you need to wear a
Yeah,
hat because
yeah. And
But
yeah,
go get a hat, Moses.
yeah,
You had that close.
yeah.
you go get a hat so that Alphonso, or next time bring your hat in.
Yeah, the next
Let
time I'll
it be
bring my hat.
let it
Yeah.
be in the issue room.
Let me
Okay,
wear the
Mr.
hat
Sumo.
on your behalf. That
Go
Okay,
ahead.
my
Mr.
hat
Sumo.
is in studio.
So what I was saying is that to predict someone's future performance
This
is
is
to look
not
at
my
his
hat,
past.
people. This
And
is Moses'
Mr.
hat.
Weir has demonstrated to us for the past 6 years, I mean for the past 5 year plus, he has never held anybody accountable. The culture of impunity in Weir's Liberia has exacerbated. The problem has getting what? Worst. That's what we had. Manners George Weir. And even before I go to Manners George Weir, let me give you one of the reasons why I say the problem has exacerbated in Weir's Liberia. The LACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, a new law was made that modified, that gave the LACC prosecutory authority. That when Moses is accused of a crime, instead of going through the justice ministry, the commission can prosecute me. And as part of that law is that no two commissioners can come from one county. As part of that law, before a nominee is confirmed, the nominee must go through what? A vetting process. As part of the confirmation process or the vetting process, he or she must declare his or her assets. As I speak to you, the Liberian Senate has confirmed individuals that violated the very law.
Even the other day, the people then that went to
They
go,
have all been confirmed.
my Jesus Christ.
So if Mr. Weir himself who made this law, his administration made a law that Moses and Volcano who work for ELBC, no two person can come from ELBC and be on this commission. Joe Weir say Volcano and Moses Sandy, y'all will be there. He sends all to the Senate confirms us. Then now the manner you say he will change the culture of impunity
Doggy.
in Liberia.
Women can say doggy.
Yeah, let me go the Liberian way now. The man made un law. He broke it. He looked the other way.
No,
The
he
law,
didn't
law.
the man didn't break it.
He did.
No.
Why?
The man tested the lawmakers.
But
I'm
Volcano.
fine. No. Moses. Let me advocate for him here.
No, but Volcano.
He tested the system.
No,
And
this is where I'm
it's
coming from.
absolutely corrupt.
Mm-hmm. Volcano, the role of the executive is what? To enforce. The executive enforces the laws of the country. So if the executive, with the support of the legislature, made a law,
Jadusia Morrison, she says she heard that they were not confirmed.
they were confirmed.
Okay,
I'm speaking to you.
Okay.
If the executive that enforces the law with the legislature pass a law, that say Moses will work for ELBC, Volcano will work for ELBC. The two of them cannot be in the issues room at the same time. And that and the head of the issue room said, no, this is what I want. It means that the man himself doesn't believe in
Moses,
the rule of
people
law.
assume they were not confirmed though. Another
They
person.
were, I'm telling you,
Okay, Moses. All right. We'll check that
the
out.
guys were confirmed.
Okay. All
I
right. But
follow Liberia
let's
religiously.
move.
Okay,
So
so
let's
the
move
point
on.
I'm making
Yeah.
here, the point I'm trying to drive on here is that re-electing George Weah will just further compound the problem. Mr. Weah is not someone who holds anybody accountable. Then the question that comes, will Joseph Walker be able to do it? Will Alexander Cumming be able to do it? Will Timon Gongro be able to do it? I can emphatically tell you guys that if Mr. Walker is given the opportunity, if Mr. Cumming is given the opportunity, if Mr. Gonglo is given the opportunity, or any other person is given the opportunity, any other person will understand governance.
Who mean
I
well?
can tell you who means well, not George Weah. Anyone who means well for Liberia will do better than what Mr. Weah is doing. George Weah is an epitome of what we call the tyranny of democracy. It's not good. The man, he breaks the laws of the country with impunity. When you talk about dishonesty, he's the leader. What did he do? He took over the country in the period of 6 months. He put up condominiums on a shady condition. And I mean that you say you're going to change culture of impunity
In the next 6 years,
in the next 6 year volcano?
even if the first year was not robust in fighting it,
No.
then it's just going to be a
As this,
glide and a ride. Let's hear from Alfonso
I
quick.
tell you,
yeah.
3 minutes, any
Yeah,
hour.
Yes.
no, I'm saying.
Go ahead, Alphonso.
Yes.
Yes.
We can move to the final segment.
I think, yes. My problem with Mr. Weah is Mr. Weah had great opportunity. Mr. Weah is Senator Presidential Liberia with massive support from the Liberian people. And he had a great opportunity to really change the country around by just hiring the right set of people, competent and qualified people. He failed to do that. He refused to do that. Even now, he still refuses to do that. He sees, he and his people see criticism of what they are doing as jealousy. They're jealous of me, they're just jealous of us. Instead of looking at criticisms as
Then he can sit, don't mind then.
yeah, don't mind them, they're just jealous.
They're jealous,
Instead of
you
looking
know.
at criticisms
Very
or other
naive,
ideas as inputs that are necessary in a democratic society for a country to succeed. That is his biggest problem. And my fear is twofold if Weah was reelected. One, he will continue on that same path. Two, his people will think that it's a time for what in Liberia we call the last rush. The last rush to get everything they can get and go sit down comfortable. That's my fear. And I agree with Moses. There's been no accountability in this government. There was the $60 billion that was stolen, nothing happened. There was the 25 million that was taken from our reserves here in New York and given to street vendors and business people. Some of whom came and said, no, they get my name on the list, but I didn't receive penny. That's not true. I didn't get it. And there was no accountability for that. And then, of course, everything else that everybody did. There's no. So again, he doesn't inspire confidence that now he will be better. Because even when you say these things, they push back by saying you are just envious and you are just jealous. So they don't even see anything wrong with what they're doing. I saw a video the other day with people interviewing the finance minister and he's lying and then fumbling. The kids did very well to push him against the wall. And you're talking about all kinds of things. I mean, these guys think they know everything and nobody else knows anything. That's my fear with them. Now, can the other people do it? The opposition. I've worked with Councilor Gombo. I know old man Boakai. And I also have followed, just reading and following, talking to people, comments. And I've looked at their platforms and all of that, but I've also talked to people. They have great ideas. They have thought. I always ask them, beautiful, you have all of these wonderful ideas. Tell me the how. And that is my question. But if I were to compare with them to Mr. Weir, I think they definitely do better. Any one of them who's elected will do better or has the potential
To do
of
better.
doing better than Mr. Weir. And I'm creating that caveat because somebody can say something today and then do something different tomorrow. But I will I will phrase it like this and then go back to the conversation. One, once again, coming from civil society, the people have to stand up. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. If you don't question these people, you don't stand up to them, that and they feel they can get away with anything, they will get away with it. One of you said it. I think Volcano or you. Your child goes out and come by 8 p.m. Nothing happened. They come by 9 p.m. Nothing happened. They'll come by 12 p.m. And then let me go very quickly to the anti-corruption, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission people. And whether or not we blame the legislature or we blame the president. I will blame the legislature more than I will blame the president. Yes, the president knows the law. Yes, the president shouldn't put people first. That's why, though, we have checks and balances. So that when a president thinks he can get away with anything by doing wrong, the other branch stops him and says, no, this is the law. In fact, we made a law, we're going to stop you. Going along with the president is what created in Liberia what we have, what we call the imperial presidency. And our legislators, the people we elect to the legislature, need to be competent, qualified, straightforward people who uphold the law. Finally, 5 seconds, 2 seconds. My understanding is that they were not confirmed that based upon a group of legislators led by what he named,
Delon.
Monserrato,
Delon,
Senator
Delon.
Delon.
Elon, called themselves a strong-headed group of so-called like-minded senators yesterday averted attempts by some of the police to confirm the newly nominated team of commissioners. So they averted it. And so now Chie, who is the president pro tempore, say, okay, it's still being considered, but it was averted. And I'm reading this from Daily Observer. So I could, and this, what did was it? Today, 801,
Okay.
2023, 6:16. So, yeah.
So, if I could just say something on that quickly, in order to make sure that those people were uh, cleared by the Senate, what did Abache do? When he
According,
realized that the
oh,
debate was
sorry.
going, yeah, when he realized that the debate was not on his side, he gave the guy a break for 1 hour to tell you how dishonest and compromised the legislature is. I know Senator Delon and the other put up a very stiff fight, yet the CDC was determined to get its way through.
And so did they confirm them?
Based on what I heard in the media, the confirmation was carried on.
Okay, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
Let, let's pause on that. And that would be a great conversation because then
Mhm.
tell you that we can host that conversation.
Yeah.
And the construct behind taking people from the southeast to head the LACC
Mhm.
is to tell you that They want to continue to corrupt, and so that people of the same background can just turn a blind eye. And that's why the man who was there prior to the abolishment to reenact a whole new commission, there was a reason behind it. But we'll come back to that.
Oh
But
yeah.
as it is right now, we are 9:22. So let's do our memory lane here quickly so we can go into what type of country is this. This one is done by, as usual, Dr. Manan Sumo. It's captioned Drugs Abuse, the Modern Silent Killer of Liberia's Youth. Drug abuse, the modern silent killer of Liberian youth. What is the Liberian government doing to control drug abuse? Or is it a deliberate underground government plot to subject the young population into drugs for political gains? I repeat, or is it a deliberate underground government plot to subject the young population into drugs for political gains? Let's go to memory lane. Growing up in the 1970s and early 80s, it was almost forbidden to publicly use the word marijuana, aka caro, tangbe, or joint. Most forbidden was to mention drugs like cocaine or heroin. Today's use of Liberia can be seen discussing the purchase and use of any illicit drugs in the presence of a police or law enforcement officer without fear. What a generation lost. Over 90% of narcotic substance users in Liberia are teenagers, but the government remains silent. To sustain the desire and use of narcotic drugs, these young people who live in ghettos, street corners, and cemeteries often resort to crime, including armed robberies. The government knows these hideouts but remains silent. The heads of these disadvantaged youths, aka Zogos, can hold a press conference to counter a claim, and the government remains silent. Studies shows that drug use and abuse is strongly linked to Liberia's 14-year civil war, the lack of development programs for youth, and high level unemployment. Instead of the past and present governments creating youth development programs, our politicians, including lawmakers and political aspirants, who choose to bus these drug use to voting centers to cast voters, or to rather cast votes in their favors. Instead of busing these disadvantaged youth to a youth development camp where these future leaders can learn trades, they are kept drugged and used as voters. When will our leaders begin to bus our disadvantaged youth to a vocational rehabilitation center instead of the voting booth? Malaria still remains the number one killer in Liberia. The second killer is now street drugs. This is serious concern and requires immediate attention, but not one presidential candidate spoken about it. They rather bust the half-dead disadvantaged youth or Zogos to a polling station to cast their votes. To the youth of Liberia, October 10 is near. As you vote, remember that you can live. You too can live a productive life to make Liberia a better country. You too can live and leave the cemeteries into home fit for humans. You too can live, so vote wise. Vote your future. Vote Liberia. I come in peace. Written by Dr. Manin Sumo, a contributor here, and the caption is let me grab the caption here because I scrolled down um, quickly. Drug abuse, the modern silent killer of Liberians youth. Written by Dr. Manin Sumo, a contributor here in the issues room in the memory lane. Gentlemen, it's time for what type of country is this?
So, I wanted to come in real quickly. 5 seconds. I'm sorry. So, Lola Manasumo and myself were thinking along the same lines because I also did a piece.
Okay, so hold, yeah. Let me go to your piece quick. Just give me one little small
It's
second.
long, you can't read it. I just
Just
wanted
a
to read it.
second.
No, yeah, I was trying to find the caption of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
How the caption is high and why $100 million, but it was also talking about it.
Yeah.
And I talk about a video. I don't know you guys saw the video of a
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
who
yeah,
was actually haircutting the pole.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh
I mean,
yeah, yeah. We saw the video.
he kept going like they kept, and somebody told me that the guy died.
Is
The two
that
things that happened as he was but the fact that he haircutting the pole and I'm feeling it, presumably, I assume. And the second thing that there were people walking and nobody intervened. That bothered me. However,
I think
that's the,
I think it's the spectacle.
yeah,
It just become a circus.
yes.
Yeah, and people
And
jeer about it and they
and
celebrate.
people expect those things to happen. You're right. So they're not triggered by that. So and I did the research and I found out that close to 700,000 youth, which is two in every 10 Liberian youth, are users of narcotic drugs. This is according to the United Nations Fund for Population Activities. That's 20% of our population. 20% of Liberia population is consuming and affected by drugs. And Liberia has a youthful population. 63% of our population is young people, and this is 20% or 700,000 of our young people. At least 700,000 of our young people are being impacted by drugs in the country. Meanwhile, let's go to our national budget. $30,000 in our national budget for mental health. The only mental health facility that the government runs is in somebody's house.
Mhm.
Dr. Grant was running a private clinic, he died. And I think, according to Dr. Dia, that facility has a capacity of what, 15 beds or 30 beds? I think 15
50,
beds.
50.
50 beds.
Yeah.
Only 50 beds. 700,000 youth in Liberia are affected by drugs. 50 bed hospital is the only mental health facility that our people have. And I agree with Dr. Sumo.
when you
They
allocate
go,
30,000? Yeah.
yes, and 30,000. They go to these Zogo hideouts, how they call them, and take them from there. They get what I call rescue mom. The CDC will not rescue mom in a bundle. Goes there and give them food on a regular basis. I mean, not even on a regular basis during holiday, her birthday, and whatever. And then bring them out to come and vote for them. It almost appears like you want to keep these people in that state so you can control their minds and get their votes. And that's exactly what Dr. Sumo has said. And that is tragic. I'm
All right,
sorry.
gentlemen, we got only what 10, 15 minutes to do our what type of country is this?
Mhm.
Good evening, welcome. This is the segment for us to laugh and enjoy. I call it enjoy, so it's time to enjoy.
Time to enjoy. Time to
And,
Time
enjoy.
to
and
enjoy.
most say favorite argument.
So let's start this. What type of country is this?
Yeah.
Raymond Clark, let's give him the first. What type of country is this where her citizens have to go through so many consultations if they're deciding to retire back home?
Che.
What country is this?
So I would like to start my whatever country is this by uh, taking a look at the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Uh, I think what D Maxwell wa
Kamanya.
Kimaya. Eh?
Kamanya.
Kimaya.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kamanya.
Okay.
Kimaya.
What type of country is this that the foreign minister of the Republic of Liberia will call a virtual, meeting with foreign staff or foreign service employees across the world? The meeting starts at 9 o'clock Liberian time. I'll say virtual. not in person. Starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the meeting lasts up to 2 o'clock the next day in the morning. What
What?
type of minister is this? What type of country is this? How do you hold a meeting from 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the morning the next day? What are you discussing?
What? The meeting was still continuing?
Continuing, and he's just talking.
Okay, so what type of country is this? Wow, man, Emmanuel Jackson says, just imagine if the American hadn't intercepted the $100 million imported drugs in the country. It would have been disaster for the youth in
Yep.
years to come.
Yeah.
But what
What
happened?
type of
What
country
happened?
is this?
But what happened? What happened to all the drugs? Do we know if everything was ready destroyed?
Nobody let the people go.
We don't know.
Imagine if you let the people go, then what happened to the drug
Damn, I
itself?
mean, you gotta say it. Yeah. Bakuda in the town, and say what?
The information is that the drugs were destroyed, but they let the people go.
They let the people go. How sure are we that the drugs we're talking about, yeah, where it's from? What type of country is this?
Yeah.
What type of country is this that when you work, you haven't taken 2 months, you have not taken pay for 2 months, but yet the government takes government's money and buy 150 pay cuts for the CDC for campaign.
Jonka coming for you.
What type of country is this?
Right,
What
John
type
Carl
of,
said.
Roma Jonka, what type of country is this, Manisumo? When a patient must go to hospital with gloves and syringe for
For
treatment.
treatment.
What do you mean strange? I'm
I
trying to.
think I think that syringe.
Oh, syringe. Okay.
Yeah, for
Okay.
treatment.
Shaggy McAfee. Hashtag. What type of country is this that instead of the government doing its part to get people out of poverty into middle class, they are encouraging more people to become poor?
Yeah, that's what they do to
Shaggy
control
McAfee.
them.
What type of country is this that the
That is
Zogo
so
party
complete.
for 30% of our youth and it keeps increasing? It's increasing.
What type of country is
What
this
type of
that?
country is this?
Yeah.
Manuel Jackson, hashtag, a presidential aspiring has to visit political parties and advise them about violence the Farmington Agreement. Tebo Goglo made news. He was going around and appealing to him, man, and he said, oh, man, the election, I know some of y'all want to throw with tea, but let us not throw with tea.
He said no pity bene, yeah.
But Moses Sandy, Alphonso, what type of country is this? Liberians in the diaspora bragging about going home. Bragging about going home.
Yeah.
And from the airport, they received the stark reality.
The first thing you get at your laptop is gone.
Measures come from Abu.
I'm coming. You don't support my team back.
Yeah, go ahead.
To get a stark reality. And the famous Farmington Hotel that
Yeah.
seemed to be 1.5 star and bragging to be 5 star and giving people breakfast, that barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken.
Chicken wing.
Barbecue chicken wing. Jesus Christ.
Many people are jokers, man.
Farmington Hotel, that new thing now because people, when they get, most of the flights get in the country late.
Yeah.
And so people say, I'm not taking that risk. I will just sleep.
Yeah, I would make that sacrifice.
A lot of people fly with Brussels, and Brussels gets there by 8:30. By the time you get through customs, it's 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just go across the road to go sleep. So they hack the price. You understand me? You hack the price, and you give me somebody barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken in the
breakfast?
morning for breakfast. In the morning, barbecue chicken.
You don't even have towels in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
That's what the lady said.
What type of country
What
is
is
this?
this?
Where people would turn down $30 million to run for president to control 15 counties and 5 million people. Because I said it, and Thomas Awaji, you're right. I said if I were put to the table to get $30 million, I won't be president again.
No.
Why would I want to be president if I get $30 million?
But what type of country is this that a talk show host who said he refused $30 million, but he's now accusing the very person that he said, hey, you offered the $30 million to for reportedly selling the VP slot for $200,000.
That's
What type of talk show host is this?
that's an irony.
That's
Again,
an irony. How
again,
would someone refuse $30 million
for two
And
hundred.
you know,
and
and sell the same slot for
and if I may,
$200,000?
exactly, and if I may add, this
Mhm.
very person who rejected, who the 30 million are offered to, who offer a whole mountain wall of using money for 30 million. I
Yeah,
wonder why he didn't get the 30 million after he offered a whole mountain to these business people.
yeah.
They don't want mountain
They don't
to
want
make money.
money. The
Whatever
$30 million,
country is
everything gone.
that anybody can do anything in the country once you got small money.
Yep,
Yeah.
Can do
exactly.
anything in the country. Thomas Awaji, what type of country is this where there's only one hotel at the international airport?
Exactly.
I tell
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
No. The Thomas, they got a hotel probably about a mile or two down the road in the corner of Smedotis on the outskirts of Smedotis, turning the curve into Joblo Town. It's called the Ambassador Hotel. It
Yeah.
is a new hotel that they built over there. So there are two hotels in that area right now.
But 2 miles away
Yeah,
now.
but it's within the vicinity, my
But
brother.
people don't want to drive on our road because they see people
In the
dying
night.
in the
Yeah.
night, no light.
It's within the vicinity. Let's say at least it's an alternative. Let's put it.
Of course it is. Of
Yeah.
course it is.
Colleague Pator, what type of country is this where someone refuses $30 million to run for the presidency, but so
It's
a
The
senator?
senatorial.
senatorial bid.
Jackie McCaffrey, what type of country is this that the government doesn't help its citizens when they ship things back to the country? Waste your time, but let the foreigners get things into the country for free and on time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
What
He
type
comes
of
back.
country is this that a
Okay.
talk show host who refused $30 million, for running for the presidency, now he says he's going to come right back on social media and become a talk show host again because it seems that nothing seems to be working. What type of country is this?
But what type of country is this that I heard that
Yeah.
the talk show hold is in a cahoots with the CDC that they're going to return all his equipment and make him a state of the art platform.
Broadcast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
propagate the agenda, and he will be getting paid. What type
Yeah.
of country is this, Shaki McCaffrey, that we have lots of Motel 6 and Super 8 motels, but we are calling them hotel? Why are we
Yeah.
fooling ourselves?
I tell you, my man. So motels, my man.
Emmanuel Jackson, what type of country is this most popular talk show flipped? Now is talking points back
Back in the ruling
to
party.
the ruling party. What type of country is this, man?
Yeah. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this? You say you're going to Liberia to retire, but you got to retire putting all your amenities in place.
And
The country
and
cannot provide anything for you. You
anything.
got to dig your well, you got to put your hand pump or your
you
reservoir.
gotta be a bath.
You
You
gotta
gotta
be
pay your help center.
you gotta be a generator house.
Yeah, big generator, have big
Be a
clinic for
generator.
yourself.
You gotta get your own CCTV. You gotta put power wire all over your.
Yeah,
Higher.
Not only the power wire, but you gotta break glass bottle and all the help.
You gotta train. You gotta train and hire your own doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have watchman. You gotta have driver. You gotta have cook. But all the things they didn't have it here in America.
No.
You got a system creates an enabling environment
Environment.
Get
You-
Kogel.
to live.
And you get Kogel.
But man, I'm making you.
KFC banana.
Yeah. But you gotta put all those things in place. Then you say you're going to retire.
Where you gonna
Think
retire?
about it. The people who can buy retire home in the Caribbean, in the island. That's what I'm saying, gentlemen. You got to create the enabling environment. The government has to prep the country
Yeah,
for retirement.
absolutely correct.
The government must prep the country for retirement.
Absolutely.
Let's go here quickly. Colleague Mator, what type of country is this? When the three branches of government do not serve as check and balances on each other, but rather worship and serve the executive branch for their own aggrandizement.
Yep.
Absolutely. And that's what we have in Liberia today.
What type of damn country is this? That
Wow.
they can talk all. After man now sing loud and out of tune, now man going back to his
day job. What
So
type
I
of
heard
countries-
that man can television. I mean, what's it, radio station?
Yeah, radio station. Yeah.
Roots FM.
It's supposed to be reopening soon because of the relationship that's being cultivated with the ruling elite.
Party. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
inside source. Inside source.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
type of country is this?
And these are the people. These are the kind of people that telling us that they are heroes.
Yes,
How do you be hero?
precisely.
These are the
Yeah.
kinds of people that telling us they have credibility and they make loud mouths. And
Yeah.
you're
It's all
compromised.
about you.
You're compromised.
The-
Brother,
yeah.
I'd rather eat my dry bread
Yes.
and I support evil against my people in the Republic of Liberia.
Thank you, my brother.
I dress
Thank
every
you.
day nicely. I eat
Yes.
every day
Yes.
nicely.
Yes.
And no amount of government money can change my mind to turn against my country.
Thank you.
I'm not lying to you. No amount of money.
What
Thank
type of
you.
country is this that the
Thank
talk
you.
show host? What type of country is it that the talk show host who told the entire world that under no condition he will ever throw a weight behind the ruling CDC and Mr. Weir? Now it is alleged he is behind the scene seeking monetary support. What type of country is this?
It's all about, I mean, Kali Kwato just said it. It's all about personal aggrandizement. It's what I can get for myself. It's not the people. They fool the people to get what they want to get. That's the type of country.
I got a lot of what type of country is this quickly. What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where someone steals your German Shepherd dog, the next day somebody's selling roast meat in the community? What type of country is this? When Western nations are producing more engineers and doctors, we are producing pastors and drug pushers,
I
yet
tell you, man.
people are in abject poverty. Call it Pator.
Yeah.
What type of country is this, Shaki McCaffey, that we have a Ministry of Tourism talking all the people money, or rather taking all the people money who should bring visitors and income to the country, but yet we have no place for tourists.
Yeah.
What type of country is this?
Mhm.
My brother, we just have missed all the priorities to change our nation. And that is why when you put people in power who are not visionaries,
Yep.
who don't have the ability to lie there and think,
Yep.
all they want to do is marry,
Just,
enjoy, and drink Hennessy, and bounce
Yeah.
and play chocolate and Ludo,
That's why you get.
you get one, brother. Moses and Alphonso, every day I think about the little things that can make Liberia better.
Yes.
Just the little things. It's only taking the initiative to do those little things.
Yeah.
Our country can go far,
Yep.
far, my brother. But
Very far.
we
Very
got
far.
people who
Yep.
don't care, and the citizens themselves are so stupid, and they
They
keep
don't know.
running behind the same people that are abusing them psychologically, physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
All of the list in the psychological layman term. That's what
but Volcano,
that's what you get.
Emmanuel
Look at
Jackson
Emmanuel
say what
Jackson.
type of government? But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah,
What-
go ahead. No, go ahead. Read it.
Power, office staffers take home computers, furniture.
Office supply, and that's true.
They take everything.
Shaggy McCaffrey, what type of government, what type of country is this? Henry Costa, who said JMB is the next president, but $30 million changed his mind, and now you're going from political party to political party.
Look at
And
money.
at the end of the day, Costa is all about money. He is no hero as he claims.
What type of country is this?
Is this when a chief traditional leader does not know the name of any village in the country and claims
Oh, God, you
he
said
is the chief soul?
Yeah.
That sounds like how?
Yeah. He Marvin.
That's not how-
What type of country is this where you can buy the best fried color from the old man sitting next to open poo sewage.
Thomas
That
Awaji.
was our idea.
Measure, just measure some of the people not getting the color.
But my
And
man,
then
the
if you don't
father
get
sitting
that,
all the calabar big.
they say love the make guy why he people like it.
Mac, how far we going, man? I gotta pick up
No,
the
we're leaving
little
now.
one.
We're
Yeah,
leaving.
we
We're
are
leaving. We're
rolling.
leaving.
We should be out of here.
No, we are out of here, gentlemen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was a great conversation.
Definitely it was.
Even what's his name? Ahmad Freeman said one of the best production we've had. I think the topic itself
Yeah,
makes the conversation.
it lands itself.
And honestly, again, in closing, 1 minute from both of you and myself, I'll just take the lead. This conversation was not to denigrate our country because our country can never be denigrated. The people in the country, the people leading the country, the citizens who themselves don't know well for themselves and who are not advocating for their well-being are the reasons why we're having this conversation. Because if we have people in the country, civil society, the press, the media, the religious institution, the citizens themselves, the electorates, those who are going to go to the polls, were advocating for what they see in the sub-region. Their country is doing well. The Ghana order that ministers are running to, the president sticks into Ghana to have enjoyment. They'll be advocating for the same in their country. But they are their own problems. And until the people who are leading, who are citizens, who are led, can see for themselves what they deserve, then we'll have this conversation. So again, this is not Liberia. You celebrate your 176 years. I said you will remain. We are with go. Ellen will go. Taylor is gone. Doe gone. Toba gone. You will remain. Citizens, you will go. You will go. You will go. Liberia will remain until the right people can come to make this country regain its status in the community of nations, put it back where it can be glorified, where it can be respected. Until those right people come, we'll continue to talk about Liberia, and there's nothing we can do about it because it's about enlightening. We're hopeful that October 10 will make a difference. It doesn't matter who becomes president. If they mean well for the country, we can change the trajectory of our country in few years by doing the subtle things, the little things, the things that matter to change our country. My thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Whatever country is this? So from my end, I want to say it was indeed a great show. We discussed what mattered most, and let me just wrap it off with this public service announcement for the issues run. It is a promo on behalf of the management of the issues room. I want to announce to the public that on Friday of this week, the issues room will host the former speaker of the Liberia Transitional Legislative Assembly, the former Minister of Posts and Telecommunication, the former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs in Salif Administration, the former Minister of Internal Affairs in Salif Administration, the Honorable Maurice Momolu Dukle. Mr. Dukle will be a guest of the issues room. He's coming primarily to endorse the candidacy of the Honorable Joseph Boaka. This is a show that you don't want to miss. Maurice Dukle is a career Liberian journalist, a seasoned politician. You want to come and be a part of this discussion on Friday. Thank you, Volcano. Thank you, Alphonso. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, thank you. Very quickly, Liberia has a lot of resources, and Liberia can really be an oasis for its citizens and for people who want to go back and retire. We just need the right leadership to put the right things into place. I mean, look at the Patawi waterfall. Look at the Sapo National Park. Look at everything. We have my trip to South Africa. We went part of one of the places we stayed, my brother. We car drove and stopped. Then we walk and we pass through the forest and then enter this place. We got in the place, everybody get a little hut, and there's electricity and running water in that little hut. It's basically a resort. We have the opportunity to create those things in Liberia for people to live. But we didn't have to carry generator behind us. The people run a plane got bring generator. It was connected to the national grid. We want to go and retire in Liberia, want to live in Liberia, and that's a noble thing to do. But we have to first make sure we improve the system in the country. And the way to do that is to put into place the right people. Don't vote for people, don't support people, don't give your money to people because they come from the same ethnic group, the same country, the same tribe, or because you just want to dance and celebrate. That's not going to help you. When your auntie die in the village while having a child, it's not by accident, it's not witchcraft. It's because there's no health service available. So understand that. Forget about that. Oh, I go to pastor to pray for me. That's not the solution. Put the right people in place. God gave all our brain to do the right thing on earth. And if we don't do the right thing, you can pray all you want. God already gave you common sense to do what you're supposed to.
Thank you.
And right here.
Let me quickly leave this parting note. When I sent the flyer out to a sister, she wrote this: "Are you kidding me? They have big eyeballs and are making their own decisions to return to Liberia. The government of Liberia has absolutely nothing to do with them returning. The problem is not America or anywhere they live. The problem is them. They are very unrealistic. Who in their right minds will leave a country like America with all the amenities, healthcare paramount, to go live in a country like Liberia? We as Liberians love our country. But when you have worked in America and are now retired, you should desire to live. Good healthcare must be the first and foremost reason
That's true.
why you are moving back to Liberia. They need to shine their eyes to the reality on the ground. As they say in Liberia, they will find out.
That's
So
true.
go running, they will find out.
Yeah,
And I'm not going to disclose this writer's name, but
Yep.
that's the fact. In
that's the
any
truth.
retirement, the first and foremost
It's
is how
health.
long you will live.
Mhm.
So enjoy the retirement. And Liberia can't provide that for you right
No,
now. No way. The gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having the two of you here with me. All of our viewers tonight, Emmanuel Jackson, Jatu Sia Morris, you've been a little bit spotty, but good to see you, sweetie. Shaggy McCaffrey, as usual, it's good to have you here. Colleague Pato, good contribution. Come for Abu for the first time. It was good seeing you, Sumo, of course. Uh, a major contributor, continue to do what you do. Rivers S. Pro came in with politics and he ran out. Kabe Cully, Thomas Awaji ran him out because he was coming here to attack. Emmanuel Jackson, we say thank you for coming through here tonight. Um, Let me just run down this list quickly and pick up some folks here. Jesse Fagon, good to see you. Uhuru Landford, thank you for joining us here in the issues room tonight. Let me see here. Momo Nelson, yes, thank you. Come back again, Momo. It was good seeing you here in the issues room. So many people contributed here tonight. I'm trying to scroll quickly. Flomo Livingstone, as usual. Raymond Clark. I know some of you guys, if I don't call your name, you'll be committing me to the legislature for contempt. Vera Horace, thank you for joining us here tonight. Good to see you, sweetie. Let's see who else here we can pick up for the first time who hasn't been here. Um, just so many people to go through. Of course, Adia Indojiset Umo, all the way in Australia, of another wonderful viewer. Say thank you. Dua Duba Port, my brother, I'll call you, man. We'll talk. Maria Gadel, thank you for coming through here tonight. The conversation was a good one. And we just say thank you to everyone who made it through here. Lamitai, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone for coming. Can't go down this list and call everybody, but those of you who chime in, Say thanks for joining us here, Flomo Livingston, and the rest of all of you. Gentlemen, as Moses already disclosed, our production for Friday, Momolu Ducle, right?
Yeah, Morris Momolu Dugle.
Yeah, Morris Momolu Ducle will be in the house with us, another statesman. It will be a great conversation. Thank you so much. Please stay behind the scene. Let me just briefly say something quick.
Okay.